Welcome one and welcome all out to Mike Deak Baseball Field. Chase McNutt, Nathan Brown joining you for the second day in a row here as the McAlester Buffaloes softball squad. They're searching for their first win here once again. They fell yesterday to the Stigler Panthers 13-1, trying to bounce back against the Collinsville Cardinals. Collinsville is a familiar opponent, not just to McAlester softball, but just to McAlester in general. Obviously, Nate, you were there for that state championship game, or you were part of that, I guess, a couple years ago for that.
Well,
But
yeah, I was actually there as a fan. That was the
yeah,
first year I had been removed. Well, no, I wasn't removed. I left.
yes, yeah.
I was there as a fan, and it was a fantastic game. Some great memories against Collinsville. Hopefully to get a good one here again.
Yeah, hopefully we can grab a good memory here today as the Lady Buffs are looking to start their season out with a win. They fell yesterday, as I mentioned, and get some familiarity with this Collinsville team. They played them twice last year. McAlester, as I mentioned to you yesterday, they've went 6-17 on the year. They fell in the Tahlequah Regional. It went 0-2. On the Collinsville side of things, they went 12-19. And I want to shout out Brandon Green here because he gave me this fun fact, this little tidbit. Last year, not Bartlesville, let me check that. McAlester on senior night, they beat Collinsville here at home. They were down 4-3 in the seventh, hit a home run to tie it, and then a walk-off inside the park home run to win it. So a lot of dramatics, theatrics as well for the Lady Buffs as they were able to grab that win yesterday, and hopefully they can kind of repeat that here today. A 5-4 win last year in September, and as I mentioned, trying to grab their first win. They are 0-1, and you're going to see the same one on the center circle for the Lady Buffs. You've got Shiley Mason, who will be manning that spot. She pitched 3 innings yesterday, grabbed a couple of strikeouts as well, but really the big, I guess, thing you could point out from yesterday for that McAlester squad, it was free passes. Couple of walks, had some hit by pitches, but then some errors really in that third inning, which really pushed things out of, I guess, reaching distance for McAlester. Those errors really come back to hurt you. And we talked about that yesterday, Nate, is that the free passes will come back to bite you.
Right. I mean, you can't have, especially against a team that was that talented yesterday, and Stigler, who I believe you said they won over 20 games in
Yeah,
the.
won 25 games last year. Yeah.
Right. So any team like that is going to make you pay for giving up that many free passes. You simply can't do it against a
Yeah.
team like that.
And McAlester on the offensive side struggled a little bit, only grabbed 3 hits yesterday. That's 3 for 15 is what they finished the day on. So they're coming into today hitting just right at that Mendoza line at 200. So they'll try and capitalize a little bit more today and might be able to have some success against a Collinsville squad that struggled last year. And this is going to be their first game of the season here today. This game was actually supposed to be played next Tuesday. So a week from today, that game was supposed to be played. And due to some factors that ended up being moved here, we had the Stigler game yesterday. Was supposed to be played here, but then it got moved to Stigler for weather, but then it got moved right back over here because of weather once again. But that's Oklahoma for you. You never really know how things are
100%.
going to end up. So really quickly, I do think we're going to get starting lineups in the national anthem here. So I'm going to go ahead and go through the McAlester starting lineup. So in the center circle, you've got Shiley Mason behind the dish. You've got Ambry House. Kelsey Rao will be on the right side of the diamond at first. Carly Lamore will be at second. Rylan Lesnow will be at short. Casey Woods at third. Avery Alberson in left. Bailey Caldwell in center. Coral Coy will be in right field. And now for the batting lineup, you've got Lesnow batting first. Alberson second. Casey Woods will be in the hole. Embry House will be batting cleanup. Kelsey Rao batting fifth. Carly Lamore will be batting sixth. And then Shiley Mason, who I mentioned also in the center circle, she'll be batting seventh. Coral Coy will be batting today after not batting yesterday. Coy played just in the field. They do not have a designated player today in this game. Bailey Caldwell will be the 9-hole. Also playing in center field, as I mentioned. That is your 1 through 9 for the McAlester Lady Buffs over on the Collinsville side now. Now, we were not given first names, so I do apologize if we've got any Collinsville faithful listening here. So I'll just let you know what we have. In the center circle, we've got Reed. Behind the dish is Holly. First base is Cotton. Second base is Knight. Breeding is at shortstop. Helm at third. Crane in left field, Ford in center, and Richardson in right. Now, the batting lineup, Reed is leading things off. Knight will be batting second. We've got a designated player / designated hitter, and Kavanaugh here for the Cardinals batting third. Cotton will be batting fourth. Richardson batting fifth. Ford batting sixth. Helm batting seventh. Holly batting eighth. And Crane batting ninth. We talked about it a little bit, but really, if you can fix the free passes from yesterday, Nate, in here too today, I feel like they'll have a pretty good chance.
Right. They did show pretty well against Stigler, even though it was the run rule victory for Stigler. Again, we talked about how good that Stigler team was.
Yeah.
This Collinsville team, not to put them down or anything, doesn't seem like they're quite on the
Yeah.
Stigler level. So if you can eliminate those free passes, you should have a much better chance at getting your first win here today.
And hopefully we get that today. And speaking of, we are about to get the national anthem. So I'm going to go ahead and just crank this up for you guys, let you guys soak in the sights, or not the sights on the YouTube channel, but also the sounds right here from Mike Deak. So I'll turn it on over to Derek Hatridge with PA. Nice rendition of our nation's national anthem there. Now we're going to go ahead and take a 60-second timeout. When we come back, we'll have the top first of action here from Mike Deak Field. So stay tuned. You're listening to McAlester High School Softball on 98.3 KNED.
Hey guys, it's Sam from Sam Wampler's Freedom Ford in McAlester and Eufaula. With 2 locations to choose from, we have close to 200 vehicles on the ground and coming in. And with vehicles starting at $29.95, we have something for everyone. And if you need parts or service, we are loading up at both locations to serve you better. Plus, with our mobile service van and our pickup and delivery, we can help you with sales and service no matter where you are. So come see us at Sam Wampler's Freedom Ford in McAlester and Eufaula and let us make it happen for you.
McAlester Softball and Volleyball is being sponsored by Consignment Exchange, and I've been doing commercials for them since I was 8 years old. Here's the connection. My great-grandfather and grandmother started the business over 50 years ago. Now my papa, Nana, and Aunt Cleora have continued. The idea was to give a place where folks could buy quality previously owned furniture, and now it's grown as a place where families who need to liquidate estates or simply have something they need to sell, Consignment Exchange is that place. At 9 years old, I came up with the tag of McAllister's favorite furniture store is Consignment, Highway 69 South, and it still is.
Welcome back to Mike Deak Field here on the south side of McAlester, and it is softball time in the Heartland. You'll get that football edition coming up here in about, 17 days, Nate, I think is game 1?
Yes,
the 30th?
17 days.
We're creeping up on it very, very quickly.
It is insane how quick it's coming up. It's also a little weird to be calling the game before football season.
It is a little bit weird.
But I'm loving it.
I'm loving it as well. Yesterday was the official first start day of practices for high school football here in Oklahoma. So anyways, back to your regularly scheduled programming. First pitch from Shiley Mason coming at 4:59, and it is a called strike to Reed. So starting out 0-1 here on the positive side as a pitcher in the center circle, and McAlester, they're not wearing their pinstripes today. Pitch number 2 is going to be swung right through, fouled backwards. It's now very quickly 0-2 from Shiley Mason. The Buffs are going to be donning their black pants. Again, no pinstripes like they had yesterday, but a white jersey with black numbering and lettering with gold trimming as well. Probably much better for the type of weather we've got right now, Nate. You know, that black on black, it's a deadly combination out in this heat.
I mean, we were walking down there, and it was almost unbearable, and we're wearing fairly comfortable clothes.
So here's the 0-2. It's going to be hit right up the middle off the glove of Mason in the center circle. Grabbed by Les now. She couldn't throw it over in time. So that is going to be a leadoff infield base hit for Reed. That was a pitcher-on-pitcher matchup there. So just a little bit of some unlucky turn of events. Mason was in the right spot, got her glove up. It just popped off the outer side of it, and Les now grabbed it. Couldn't quite get it over in time, and so now Reed, with some speed, is over on first base. So here's the first pitch now, squaring to bunt, but pulling back. It's a called strike nonetheless. So 0-1 from Mason to Knight, also playing second base today. Collinsville, they're going to be wearing their red jerseys with white numbering and lettering, white pants, and I like the baby blues. The baby blue socks as well. I'm a big fan of that color. The second pitch is going to be ripped over the head of the right fielder, Coral Coy, that's going to bounce off the wall, and one run is going to come around to score, and that's going to end up being a triple for Knight. And Collinsville takes an early lead, and they are fired up here. So 2 minutes into game time, Collinsville strikes a infield single and then an RBI triple to get things started off here, and now it's 1-0 Cardinals over the Buffaloes.
And if you're Mason out there on the mound, take a deep breath. Just get this next girl out.
First pitch is going to be swung on and hit to center field, not very deep, backing up, and that's going to bounce off the fence. I think it was just misplayed by Bailey Caldwell. So one run will score, and that's going to be a double. I think Caldwell thought that was going to be clearing the fence, and that bounced just right in front of it, and then took one hop and hit that fence, which it's about 210 all the way around here with that softball outer, the outer wall that's removed from the baseball outer wall. Now, the good thing you can take away from this, Nate, is already a lot more pitching to contact here from Mason.
Yes, that's for sure.
As soon as I say that, a batter is hit. So Kavanaugh, excuse me, that is Cotton now who's on first base, as Kavanaugh is standing up over at second with that RBI double. So Cardinals lead at 2-0 right now here in the top half of the first inning. That'll bring up Richardson. We're already to hitter number 5 in the lineup here, so a little bit reminiscent of how things started off yesterday. First pitch from Mason catches that corner for a called strike to Richardson. And just with Mason, we talked about yesterday some of the free passes, but really when she settled in, really good locations, and so far she's been pretty on the dot. A lot of pitching to contact. Pitch is just a little bit up, so 1-1. And it was something we talked about yesterday. You just want to make the other team put the ball in play, because then you have an opportunity to get an out otherwise compared to, the free passes, walks, things like that. So here's the 1-1. Swung on and missed. Great pitch from Mason that time. Richardson was just a little bit underneath it. Again, I'm not as good as following the ball out of the softball pitcher stand. It's a little bit different compared to baseball. So kind of looked like it rose a little bit, maybe a rise ball. Don't quite know if she has that in her repertoire, but and we've got a home field ump walking off the field. He's gone back to the concessions side of things. Maybe he had to go to the bathroom or something.
This is a little weird.
It is a little weird. I don't know if maybe he got sick from the heat. We're just speculating. Obviously, never great to speculate, but hope that he's all right and that this is figured out quickly. But I'm not quite sure, honestly. We still got one up out here in the infield, but teams are just kind of taking a beat to talk about it a little bit, and Coach Singleton is heading down as well to kind of figure out what's going on. So I think we're going to go ahead and I think we're going to take a 30-second timeout. I don't want to take a 60-second just in case somebody comes back. So we're just going to take a short 30-second timeout. We'll be right back. And we've got a little bit of a lull. McAlester trails Collinsville in the top half of the first inning, 2-0 right here on 98.3 KNED.
McAlester Clothing Consignment accepts consignments on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. All items must be gently used and in good shape. Please label all bags, boxes, or totes with the consignor's name. The limit on bags is 2 13-gallon bags per consignor per week. The consignment split is 50-50. Hey, bargain shoppers, we have all types of clothing, home decor, toys, hand tools, handbags, jewelry, sports equipment, and more. McAlester Clothing Consignment, 405 East Chickasaw Avenue, Suite B, McAlester. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., Sundays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Call 918-318-7986.
Welcome back to Mike Deak Field. Still kind of in a lull right now. Nobody really knows what's going on. We talked to some of the people in the booth right over here next to us. Coach Singleton is headed down there to try and figure it out. Trent Homer as well. But we don't really know what's going on. We think maybe he might be sick because, again, didn't quite see it. Nate, I don't know if we've got the ability to see on our cam because I know we've got that home field shot. By the way, we are live on our YouTube page if anybody is interested.
If you'll give me a second, I'll go back and watch it.
Yeah. So Singleton has returned from the concession side, and so has Coach Homer, but no home field ump. And this is the first time I've seen something like this. It's just a little bit wacky. I will say the weather is a little bit warmer today than what it was yesterday for the start of the game. It was about 90, 91 degrees at the start, and it's about 95 now. That wind is pushing, looks kind of northeast, just like it was yesterday. The UV index is not crazy high, so you don't really have to worry about a sunburn. It is sitting at around 3 right now. Not really a high amount of wind. I mentioned it's blowing towards the northwest a little bit, but really about 7 to 10 miles per hour. So nothing crazy, but it's enough to alleviate a little bit of the heat. And of course, that heat is brutal at this time of the year. And so with all that rain we got yesterday, it is a little bit more humid than what it would be, but not quite as humid as it was yesterday. And we've still got no home plate umpire. So I don't know.
I mean, I just went back and watched the pitch right before he walked off. I mean, nauseous would be my best guess, but I really don't want to speculate on anything like that.
Yeah, for sure. That was kind of my first thought, just because, again, it's hot. They're out there on the turf, and me and Nate can attest to this just from being out there earlier. It is much hotter out on the turf than what it is up here in the booths, and now they're taking all the players off the field. So I'm going to go ahead and get a read-in for our sponsors real quick, and then we're going to take a 60-second break. But one of our sponsors is Consignment Exchange. They were founded on the premise that new furniture was often out of reach of many families struggling to make ends meet, but that was over 40 years ago. How much more is that true today? Well, they've helped literally thousands of folks over the years, young couples just getting started, parents sending kids to school, or folks trying to stretch every dollar. Consignment has met the needs for all kinds of furniture and beds and so much more. Remember, McAllister's favorite furniture store is Consignment, Highway 69 South. We're going to go ahead and take a break. We'll be right back in 60 seconds. You're listening to McAlester High School Softball on KNED.
Hey guys, it's Sam from Sam Wampler's Freedom Ford in McAlester and Eufaula. With 2 locations to choose from, we have close to 200 vehicles on the ground and coming in. And with vehicles starting at $29.95, we have something for everyone. And if you need parts or service, we are loading up at both locations to serve you better. Plus, with our mobile service van and our pickup and delivery, we can help you with sales and service no matter where you are. So come see us at Sam Wampler's Freedom Ford in McAlester and Eufaula and let us make it happen for you.
McAlester Clothing Consignment accepts consignments on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. All items must be gently used and in good shape. Please label all bags, boxes, or totes with the consignor's name. The limit on bags is 2 13-gallon bags per consignor per week. The consignment split is 50-50. Hey, bargain shoppers, we have all types of clothing, home decor, toys, hand tools, handbags, jewelry, sports equipment, and more. McAlester Clothing Consignment, 405 East Chickasaw Avenue, Suite B, McAlester. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., Sundays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Call 918-318-7986.
McAlester Softball and Volleyball is being sponsored by Consignment Exchange, and I've been doing commercials for them since I was 8 years old. Here's the connection. My great-grandfather and grandmother started the business over 50 years ago. Now my papa, Nana, and Aunt Cleora have continued. The idea was to give a place where folks could buy quality previously owned furniture, and now it's grown as a place where families who need to liquidate estates or simply have something they need to sell, Consignment Exchange is that place. At 9 years old, I came up with the tag of McAllister's favorite furniture store is Consignment, Highway 69 South.
Welcome back to Mike Deak Field for some high school softball, and we do have an update. So the home plate umpire has been throwing up. So right now we're just in kind of a wait until something is figured out. So what we're actually going to do for you guys, we're going to send it back to regular programming. Hopefully it's not any longer than 5 to 10 minutes max, but just kind of wanted to clear that up for you guys a little bit. So right now it's paused in the top half of the first inning. There are no outs, but McAlester trails Collinsville 2-0. So once again, we're going to go ahead and send it back to just regular KNED programming. I think that's the same umpire, though, that was already out here. I don't think that's the one that was sick.
Yeah, my bad. Sorry.
No, you're fine. I thought for a second as well, but that is not the one that was sick. So we're going to send it back to programming, but hopefully 5 to 10 minutes at max. So we'll be right back here with you. You're listening to McAlester Softball on KNED. All righty. Welcome back, everybody, to Mike Deak Field here in McAlester. We are planning on resuming action, I would assume, here within the next 5 to 10 minutes. We did get a little bit of an update, so unfortunately, that home plate umpire feeling the heat a little bit. Got a little sick. Not going to go too much into it, but he had to step off for a little bit, had to go into some air conditioning, just cool off and cool down just to feel a little bit better. We were told now that the field umpire will be coming in behind the plate, and he is going to be umping behind the plate now, and the home plate umpire is going to be in the field. But I say that, and now I don't see any umpires right now. There was one who ran back over to the field house, which is just to the left of, I guess it's on the third base side, up over by the bullpen, kind of.
So the new home plate umpire is actually down there talking with Coach Singleton right now, McAllister's athletic director. Over by home plate. Yeah, kind of out of our line of sight.
Yeah, I can't see it from here. But
the only reason I can see him is because of the field camera we've got, which looks amazing, by the way.
It does.
Like I said, I was looking back at the replay earlier. Picture looks amazing.
And
anyway, enough bragging.
Say not to toot our own horns, but definitely toot our own horns. I don't know how many other broadcasts you'll find just on the high school level in Oklahoma like this, so I feel very lucky to be a part of this, and very, very cool that you guys are able to watch that. You can find that on the McAlester Radio YouTube page. That's pretty much all you have to search is McAlester Radio, and you'll find us. So what we're going to do, it looks like some things are going to be moving on the field. We're going to go ahead and take a 60-second break. Before we do that, I did want to say Consignment Exchange, one of our 3 sponsors here. They have new mattresses. I know many of you know them as a place for pre-owned furniture. That's true, but really new mattresses is what they're really big on right now. It's important for you to know that they are hundreds of dollars less than retail. They have name brands that are factory closeouts and discontinued covers, plus other factors. They don't advertise the brands, and they sell them as is. For these reasons, you can buy a high-end name mattress and keep money in your pocket. You can try one out today or whenever you get the chance. McAllister's favorite furniture store is Consignment, Highway 69 South. We'll be back in 60 seconds with McAllister Softball on KNED.
Hey guys, it's Sam from Sam Wampler's Freedom Ford in McAlester and Eufaula. With 2 locations to choose from, we have close to 200 vehicles on the ground and coming in. And with vehicles starting at $29.95, we have something for everyone. And if you need parts or service, we are loading up at both locations to serve you better. Plus, with our mobile service van and our pickup and delivery, we can help you with sales and service no matter where you are. So come see us at Sam Wampler's Freedom Ford in McAlester and Eufaula, and let us make it happen for you.
Welcome back to Mike Deak Field. Some change of plans. So just one umpire now in the infield or just behind home plate. Now there's not one in the infield anymore. So just bringing you back a little bit earlier, action has resumed. And Shiley Mason ended up striking out Richardson as she already had a 1-2 count. And now she's facing Ford here, the 7-hole for Collinsville, or the 6-hole, I should say, and it's a 1-1 count. Runners in scoring position is just Kavanaugh. You've got one on second base. Cotton is over on first. Collinsville, they had an infield single, also had a RBI triple the first 2 batters. That was how they scored their first run. Here's the 1-1 swung on and missed again. So Shiley Mason setting in a little bit here. Maybe that break just helped her, loosen up maybe a little bit more. After night, it was Kavanaugh who had a double, an RBI double. That is how we got to 2-0. And then you had the hit by pitch on Cotton, who's standing at first base. And now you've got Ford up to bat, who's going to hit one high on the infield. Les now ranging back on the infield. It's going to fall just past her glove. It's going to bounce around, and it's not quite grabbed. There's going to be a throw home, but it's not going to be in time, and it's cut off by Casey Woods at third base as Collinsville sends a runner around to score. So Kavanaugh had to kind of hold up on that pop fly on the infield that fell just beyond the outstretched hands of Lesnow over at shortstop. And Kavanaugh came around to score. Cotton now moves to second base. And Ford is standing on first with a bloop single. And an RBI, I should say. So 3-0 Collinsville. Up to bat now is Helm. First pitch to her just a little bit below the knees. So it's now 1-0 here. Just one out with runners on first and second. Here's the 1-0 from Shiley Mason. Swung on and missed. That's another swing and a miss that Shiley Mason has induced so far. Much more already here in this first inning than what we saw yesterday. And I really just say, you take away that first inning, she really pitched well yesterday. A couple of those runs weren't charged to her because of those errors in the third, but really settled in, especially after that first inning. House not able to block that pitch in the dirt, so it goes to the backstop. And 2 Cardinals now are in scoring position as Cotton trots on down from second to third, and Ford skips from first to second. So 2 in scoring position. But you do have 1 out. The double play is not a factor here now with first base being the only base open. You do have a place to put her if you do end up with a walk. So here's the 2-1 from Mason. It's hit right down the left field line, and they're going to say it's fair. It was very close, and it rolls all the way to the wall. 1 run is going to score, and 2 runs will score, and that is going to be an RBI double for Helm. Cotton trots in from third. Ford runs around from second. And it is now 5-0 Collinsville. So very reminiscent of how things started yesterday. So still just 1 out here. Got a couple of bases open as you're facing the 8-hole with Holly, who's behind the dish today, catching for Collinsville. Has to take her towel off, which you can see all of that on our home plate cam on our YouTube page, which is where you can also hear our audio. First pitch swinging. It's going to be a foul ball opposite of the third base line over towards the field house. Mentioned it's a little bit warmer today. You definitely can feel it walking around. Wind is not too much of a factor. It's 95, feels closer to 98, 99. That's just via the Mesonet index here that I'm looking at. So an 0-1 count to Holly. Another one fouled off near the same spot, but this one is a pop-up instead of a ground ball. And it's now 0-2 as Mason has worked a pitcher's count. Got a couple of pitches to work here if you want to try and get her swinging out of the zone. We'll see what the approach is. Trying to grab her second strikeout of the inning. Had 2 yesterday, already has 1 here in the first inning. That one's going to be popped up on the infield. Foul territory. It's going to range over to the third base dugout, hit the roof, and roll over into the seating area next to the concession stands. So it's going to stay at 0-2.
Only thing about the ball going to stands, you don't get to keep it.
That is the bad thing, especially with high school sports. You don't get to keep those. You got to give them back. And now we're having a conversation over at the McAlester dugout. Maybe just grabbing a different softball.
Yeah.
So Mason will trot back out to the center circle. And we'll resume here as it's 0-2 with 1 out. This is a big out here, already trailing 5-0. Just need to kind of grab something to give you some momentum because after this you have the 9-hole and then it turns right back over to the top of the order. So that's why it's important to grab these last 2 outs here. Here's the 0-2. It's a little bit high and outside. Nice eye from Holly. So 1-2, still a pitcher's count. Again, you've got more pitches to work with. When you work yourself into a count like this, we'll see if she goes at her with the 1-2, and she does, and it's fouled once again on the opposite of the third base side over by the dugout. So Holly's just really out in front of it. If Mason has maybe a fastball or something a little bit quicker, maybe elevated here could be something you could get Holly swinging. She's not afraid to swing it. We've seen it already. 3 swings in this at bat, all foul balls. This one's upstairs, so it's 2-2. Pretty good at bat being worked by the 8-hole here for the Cardinals. Excuse me. These 2 teams faced each other twice last year. It was a 1-1 split. Collinsville was all over McAlester in that first matchup back at the beginning of September of 2023. They won that game 12-2. That was in Collinsville. Here's the 2-2. It's upstairs, so it's now worked full. So you've got no other place to go outside of the zone, and we're going to have a pitching conversation, maybe just handing her a towel, maybe just some grip issues.
I mean, I can understand that. My hands get really sweaty sometimes, especially out in nearly 107 degree heat index.
I know it. And especially just us walking around, I can't imagine playing a sport right now out in this weather. These girls are superheroes, I'll tell you that much. The 3-2, it's outside. So 4 balls after an 0-2 count, and it's 2 runners on now for Collinsville with just 1 out. And that is the second free pass. We had a hit by pitch earlier on Cotton, but that's the first walk. And Ambry House is going to leave home plate and trot out and have a conversation with Shiley Mason here. And with all the different factors, Nathan, if I told you going into this that we were going to have at least a 30-minute top half of the first inning, I don't know if you would have been able to predict how it happened.
Oh, I would never have guessed that. I mean, I would have guessed a thunderstorm before that.
Yeah, especially. Yeah, that's the first time I've seen something like that. Certainly hope that he's all right. Doesn't get, heat exhaustion or anything like that, because just being out in this kind of a heat, as you mentioned, the heat index is over 105. That certainly can make you sick.
And I can only imagine with the turf field how much hotter the field makes that field.
Oh, yes. First pitch to Crane is in the dirt, so 1-0. And especially, umpires, they got to wear those pants, all that equipment as well, so that just makes it a little bit more hot. So 1-0 now as Mason will try to work herself out of this jam. 2 runners on with 1 out. And it's hit right down the first base line. It gets right past Kelsey Rowell. It's going to roll to the right field. It's grabbed by Coral Coy. She'll throw it in to save 1 runner from scoring, but 1 does come around. They thought about sending 2. So that's going to be an RBI single for Crane. As Helm trots in, Holly moves over to third base. And Crane is actually standing at second base. It's not a double. She advanced after the throw in. So now back to the top of the lineup here with Reed, who had an infield single to get things started. Runners on second and third. First pitch swinging again. Man, backhanded grab by Les now. Throws it over to first base, and runner's going to go to third, and they might get a double play, and they do. They turn it. We have a 5-3-3-6 double play by McAlester as Les now backhanded it, threw it over to Rowell, and Rowell threw it over to Casey Woods at third to turn 2. And I don't think, and no, it will. So that 1 run will score. And that is Holly coming home from third base to score. So it's 7-0 as we now head to the bottom half of the first inning. McAlester trails it 7-0. We'll be right back. You are listening to McAlester Softball on KNED.
Hey guys, it's Sam from
McAlester Clothing Consignment accepts consignments on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. All items must be gently used and in good shape. Please label all bags, boxes, or totes with the consignor's name. The limit on bags is 2 13-gallon bags per consignor per week. The consignment split is 50-50. Hey bargain shoppers, we have all types of clothing, home decor, toys, hand tools, handbags, jewelry, sports equipment, and more. McAlester Clothing Consignment, 405 East Chickasaw Avenue, Suite B, McAlester. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Sundays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Call 918-318-7986.
McAlester Softball and Volleyball is being sponsored by Consignment Exchange, and I've been doing commercials for them since I was 8 years old. Here's the connection. My great-grandfather and grandmother started the business over 50 years ago. Now my papa, Nana, and Aunt Cleora have continued. The idea was to give a place where folks could buy quality previously owned furniture, and now it's grown as a place where families who need to liquidate estates or simply have something they need to sell, Consignment Exchange is that place. At 9 years old, I came up with the tag of McAllister's favorite furniture store is Consignment, Highway 69 South, and it still is.
Welcome back to Mike Deak Field here in McAlester as the Buffaloes are coming up for their first at-bats of the game, and they're up against a wall here, trailing Collinsville 7-0 before they even get up to bat. It's going to be Rylan Lesnow once again leading things off. Lesnow yesterday did get a base hit. Lesnow also had an RBI. She had the only extra base hit. It was a ground rule double. Lesnow will be the first one. On deck, you've got Avery Alberson and the hold. Casey Woods batting third. Ambry House will be on in the 4th spot batting cleanup. Kelsey Rowell batting 5th. Carly Lamore batting 6th. Shiley Mason batting 7th. Coral Coy batting 8th. And Bailey Caldwell batting 9th. So Reed, first pitch from her to Lesnow. Man, had some zip on it, but it's left upstairs. Doesn't look quite as fast as the first pitcher they saw from Stigler yesterday, but certainly has some juice on it. So here's the 1-0 to Lesnow. Fouls it off. Over towards the first base side. So it's worked even now. McAlester as a team hitting just 200 right at the Mendoza line. But again, you've only played one game. It's really hard to just grab averages and take them at face value after just one game. You need to get at least 2 or 3 underneath you. And then once you get closer to 10, you kind of figure out what kind of a team you're going to be. But right now, just game number 2. This one was a rescheduled one. It was supposed to be next Tuesday, but was moved up to today, which is why we're here. So here's the 1-1 to Lesnow. Swing and a miss on a pitch that's a little bit low. So 1-2.
very aggressive cut that I do like there.
It was. You'll take that. You don't want to see, just sitting and watching strikes come by. It shows that she's throwing a little bit hard, but obviously you're not scared of it.
And also not a half-hearted attempt at swing. She went all out for that pitch.
So here's the 1-2 from Reed to Les now. Swing and a miss. Rung her up on 4 pitches. That is a strikeout, the first for Les now this season. That'll now bring up Avery Alberson. Alberson was also someone who got a hit yesterday. She had the only RBI. That was a single in the third after a after a walk from Ambry House when she got on base. So now Alberson playing in left field will try and continue some of her success from yesterday. First pitch swinging. It's a slow ground ball to third. It's grabbed by Helm. She'll throw it across. Not a good throw, though. Brought Cotton off the bag, and that's going to be safe. That's going to be an error charge to the third baseman. So not officially a hit for Alberson, but that does help the on-base percentage, which is going to creep up from what it was 266 when this game started. So now that'll bring up Casey Woods. And Woods playing third base just as she did yesterday. First pitch to her. Bit inside for ball 1. So 1-0. Nice eye from Woods that time. Woods playing opposite of, let me see who I had here at first base, playing opposite of Kelsey Rowell, the two that really were a big part of rolling that double play to end the top of the first inning. That pitch is going to be fouled over towards us. Might hit our roof. It did.
It did.
But it's not as loud as I thought it was going to be.
No, I think it hit over on the other side.
Yeah. My car's safe. Thought for a second, once it goes that way behind us, you just, you clinch a little bit.
Yeah, you never want to walk out there and see your windshield shattered.
And I know that you can speak to that better than most.
Unfortunately, and I parked all the way out there by the walking track.
The 1-1 is high and outside, so it's 2-1 now. There was a throw down to first base trying to get Alberson, but
got back in time.
Thank you.
Don't need you getting sick on us too now.
Just had something caught in my throat. So here's the 2-1 now. Fouled off again, same area, a little bit farther back.
Didn't hit the roof this time.
Did not hit the roof. Completely cleared us that time. So 2-2 is the count. And for those of you that maybe backed out a little bit ago because of the situation, I'll just kind of refresh you. Only one umpire now for this district game. Had to call it after about 3 or 4 batters. Not call it, but had to pause because an umpire was sick. So now they're rolling with just one in the home plate. There are none in the field. That one is going to be rocketed out to center field, and it's going to fall right into the glove of Ford. And that was a good rip that time from Casey Woods, but all for naught as it's a fly out. But, man, solid contact. Probably the best contact from either game so far.
Oh, that's for sure. Off the bat, I thought that might have been clear in the fence.
I thought maybe that'd be gone. That is the good thing that I like about softball. With the shortened outfield, you tend to see a little bit more home runs than what you'd see in high school baseball. So now Ambry House, the cleanup batter, first pitch to her is upstairs. She was the only batter yesterday to get on base twice. That's because she got a hit and then she walked. But not everybody got 2 at-bats yesterday just because of that pitching performance from the Panthers. Here's the 1-0 to House. She hits that one out to right field. Not very deep. Richardson sees it and grabs it for out number 3. So McAlester does get a base runner on via the error, but no hits, no walks, and a strikeout as we'll now head to the top half of the second inning as they trail it 2-0. We'll be right back. You're listening to McAlester Softball on 98.3 KNED.
Hey guys, it's Sam from Sam Wampler's Freedom Ford in McAlester and Eufaula. With 2 locations to choose from, we have close to 200 vehicles on the ground and coming in. And with vehicles starting at $29.95, we have something for everyone. And if you need parts or service, we are loading up at both locations to serve you better. Plus, with our mobile service van and our pickup and delivery, we can help you with sales and service no matter where you are. So come see us at Sam Wampler's Freedom Ford in McAlester and Eufaula and let us make it happen for you.
McAlester Clothing Consignment accepts consignments on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. All items must be gently used and in good shape. Please label all bags, boxes, or totes with the consignor's name. The limit on bags is 2 13-gallon bags per consignor per week. The consignment split is 50-50. Hey, bargain shoppers, we have all types of clothing, home decor, toys, hand tools, handbags, jewelry, sports equipment, and more. McAlester Clothing Consignment, 405 East Chickasaw Avenue, Suite B, McAlester. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., Sundays 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Call 918-318-7986.
Welcome back to Mike Deak Field here on a Tuesday, August 13th. Chase McNutt, Nathan Brown joining you here for the top half of the second inning as McAlester trails it 7-0. If you're going to take some positives away, though, I will say that Mason, she has kind of found herself a little bit more in the circle. It wasn't really free passes in that first inning. She did have 2, but really it was just putting pitches in a spot where they were able to put the ball in play. You didn't have any errors on the McAlester defensive side. So again, if you're going to pull some positives, I think those are some things that you can pull from yesterday's game to today.
And again, something to remember with this team. This team is very young.
Yes, very young team.
I believe, again, only had 3 seniors on the roster.
Yep. I think 6 or 7 of their 9 starters out in the field right now are either freshmen or sophomores. So just another thing to keep in the back of your mind. That's going to be a team that is going to have to find themselves a little bit. Obviously, they're young, aren't as experienced, but I've mentioned this yesterday. I think as the years go along, you'll find that this team, when most of them are juniors and seniors, I think they'll be a force to be reckoned with. Squaring to bunt that time, but pulls back, does Knight for her second at-bat of the game. But it's a called strike regardless. Infield sprinting in. You like to see that they know their assignments in that kind of a situation. First baseman was running up to cover. Kelsey Rowell and Carly Lamore was going to cover first base for her. Did not square to bunt that time, so tying outside. So it's 1-1 after the ball.
I mean, knowing your assignments is half the battle.
It really is half the battle. The corner's charging in. It looks like Les now went to cover second, and Rowell, after charging down, Lamore covered first base. And that pitch is going to be a single right up the middle. It's going to fall right in front of Bailey Caldwell, who gloves it and throws it in. So another hit here for the Cardinals. It's going to be another single. That is the 7th hit so far for the Cardinals here as we're in the second inning. That'll bring up now 3-hole Kavanaugh, who had a double, so certainly has some power behind that bat. Looks like the outfielders are backed up just a little bit. We'll see how Mason decides to deal with her this time around. First pitch to her. It's a swing down the third base line, and it hit right on the line. No, they're going to say it hit opposite of it. I thought it caught the line.
Okay, so in the previous inning, I thought the ball that went all the way down the wall ended up being a
I thought that
triple.
ball was foul.
I thought that one was foul, and I thought that one was fair.
I agree with you. So that was an interesting call. It's funny you say that because I saw that when it happened. I was like, that kind of looked like it was foul, but they called it fair, and this one vice versa. But, hey, you'll take it because that would have been some damage.
Yeah.
So 0-1 now. Swinging again. This is going to be a pop-up on the infield. Trotting back to grab it is Lamore, but it goes just beyond her glove. So runners at first and second. It's just kind of no man's land. And it looks kind of weird because they're playing on what would be the high school baseball infield. That is the turf side of it. But that's their outfield. It's just a shortened outfield. Again, it's a little bit different for those who may not watch softball as much, but it is shortened, only 60-foot base paths, and the outfield only goes to 210. First pitch swinging now for Richardson is popped up on the infield, and that's going to fall inside the McAlester dugout. So back-to-back singles to start out the second inning here. And if I haven't mentioned it already, this is a district game. So this will count on that side of things, which is why I would assume they're running with just the one umpire. Because, I mean, you got to play your district games out. If this was like a non-district situation, maybe a little bit different.
Yeah, if it was a non-district game, I'm not sure if the game would have continued or not.
Second pitch is high and outside. So 1-1, but certainly like to see a game played, especially for
Always.
somebody like Collinsville who makes the trek down here around, 2-hour drive. So, I mean, hey, if we're all here, you might as well play the game.
Yeah.
So here's the 1-1. That one's hit left side of the field. It's going to tread foul on the opposite side of the line and roll past the outer fence. Jonathan Herrick with a nice grab out in deep left field by the bullpen. Don't think he'll hear that, but I just want to send him a shout out. So 1-2 now. You've got runners on first and second. If you're Collinsville, Shiley Mason in the center circle for the Buffs will try and keep it there. Here's the 1-2. Pop up. It's going to be on the infield side, not foul, and the grab is made by Kelsey Rowell for out number 1. And that is a big out. I will also point out that Mason has induced a lot of pop flies. Some of them have just kind of fallen in that area where you don't really have somebody. You either have an infielder or an outfielder who's got to be sprinting to grab it. And those are it's really tough situations. And that is something about baseball. I've found the ball won't always fall your way in those situations. But so far, until that one, it has fallen the Collinsville way.
And as you noted earlier, it looks like McAllister's outfield playing a little bit further back, so that's even more grass in between.
Called strike one here. Runner's going to go to third, but Mason can't hold on to the ball on the throw back from House. That looked like a prime opportunity to get a runner out that was just trying to cheat a little bit. But Knight is now standing over at third base. So runners on the corners. You still have the opportunity for the double play up the middle here. Cavanaugh standing at first. And Richardson at the plate. Richardson is the only strikeout victim thus far for Collinsville. That was back in the first. She's going to square to bunt, and that's fouled backwards. So it's 0-2 now. I would imagine the bunt is off here.
I mean, I have seen crazier.
I've seen a bunt with 2 strikes before, and I've seen it lead to an out. And so it's never a smart situation to bunt. Obviously, if you're McAlester, you'll take it, especially if it's fouled off.
100%. Or even just an easy pop-up to the catcher.
For sure, and that's what you risk when you're trying to bunt. But it's now 0-2. I would assume we won't see it here. 1 out, top of the second. Here's Mason. Fouled off backwards. That looked like another one that would have been popped up if it was not fouled backwards. So
right.
she's kind of lived in that spot. She's stayed a little bit more up, and these batters trying to get around on it. They've done enough to get contact to where it's fallen in some of these spots. But if Mason can kind of live there, that's not a bad place to be. So it'll stay at 0-2 here with 1 out. Getting the pitching signals from the dugout. Her and House are wearing wristbands. Pitch is high and outside. Man, a huge lead at first base, too, I will say. Cavanaugh halfway down the base pass to second before she trots back. Looked like House kind of eyeballed her that second time. So we'll see if she grabs that lead again, that maybe we don't see a throw down to first. Here's the 0-2. Swing and a miss. Second strikeout, and Cavanaugh did steal second base. But now neither of those runners mean a thing with 2 outs if you can handle the runner or the batter at home. So that is the 4th strikeout so far of the season for Shiley Mason. Second of the game. She's already grabbed her 2 faster today than what she did yesterday as well. So that's another positive sign. First pitch now to Ford is a slow ground ball to first. It's hit by Rowell, but she misplays it, tosses it over to first, falling down to make the play. No, they're going to say she's safe. That allows 2 runs to score at home.
She didn't have a foot on the bag. She was standing over the bag.
So that was Lamore coming over to cover. Rowell just misplayed it, turned and underhand tossed it. But, yeah, as you mentioned, couldn't get both feet down or even one down on that bag, and she fell backwards. And that allowed for Knight to come around and score, and Cavanaugh as well, because at that point, you've got 2 outs. So runners are sprinting home on contact. So that's going to be an infield single, I would assume, with an RBI.
Because that would have been a very tough play for the second baseman covering.
She was sprinting over to cover it, just couldn't quite get there in time. So it's now 9-0 Cardinals. Here's the 0-1 from Mason. It's going to be hit on a line, a single that falls right in front of Avery Alberson in left field. She'll get it in very quickly. But that's another base hit, and the Cardinals have just been teeing off so far today. And it's hard to complain when it's just singles and hits. I've already talked about it, but you'll take putting the ball in play over free passes any day of the week.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just
at least let your defense work behind you.
At this point, it's just the ball has not dropped the way of McAlester. First pitch swinging again, and just another unfortunate roll. Mason can't grab it off the glove, and that's another infield single. And it's one of those days where the softball gods or whatever they are just aren't agreeing with you. That slow roller up to Mason, it just hit the outside of her outstretched glove. We've got a courtesy runner at first base as well.
Looks like it's going to be number 7 for Collinsville.
Let me see if I can get a name on that very quickly as well.
Yeah, I didn't get a picture of the lineup. My apologies.
No, you're fine. So Mars. So Mars is coming in. First pitch, umpire waited, might have been borderline, but it looked out of the zone. So 1-0 here. Runners on every bag with 2 outs. So any ground ball, you can just tap your base, and if it's even a slow roller at home plate as well. Pitch from Mason is swung on and missed. Going at Crane here, the 9-hole. So 2 outs. With a 1-1 count, Mason is eyeballing the dugout, trying to get her signal here for the pitch. And I know they're trailing 9-0 here, but this is a pretty big out. Here's the 1-1. Pretty good pitch, a throw down to third base. It was close, but I do think the runner slid in time. Now, a tough situation here that you'll get with just one umpire. We saw it over here at first base while Lamore was not able to make that play, but it's just a lot harder to make those judgment calls at home plate compared to being on the infield.
Right. I mean, you would have a perfect view if you were out there in the field of that play.
So now here's the 1-2, fouled off. So it'll stay at 1-2. 2 outs, runners on first and second. We have a courtesy runner, that is Mars at first base. And then you've got, runners on every bag. You've got Ford at third, Helm at second, and then a courtesy runner on first. But you've got a strikeout so far this inning and a pop out. Those are the 2 outs that Mason has induced so far. She's got another opportunity here with the 1-2. Upstairs, it looked like Crane wanted to go, but smartly laid off of it. And she's kind of doing that running swing that you see in softball, which essentially is just like a drag bunt with just a little bit more power. So here's the 2-2. Right down the first base line, but nabbed by Kelsey Rowell to get out number 3. So 2 more runs do come across here for the Cardinals, but McAlester does end the inning, and they trail it 9-0. Before we take this break, did want to say we are being sponsored by Consignment Exchange, they were founded on the premise that new furniture was often out of reach for many families struggling to make ends meet, but that was over 40 years ago, and that's not much as true today. They have helped literally thousands of folks over the years, young couples just getting started, parents sending kids to school, or folks trying to stretch every dollar. Consignment has met the needs for all kinds of furniture and beds and so much more. Remember, McAllister's favorite furniture store is Consignment, Highway 69 South. We'll be back in 30 seconds. You're listening to McAlester Softball on KNED.
Hey guys, it's Sam from Sam Wampler's Freedom Ford in McAlester and Eufaula. With 2 locations to choose from, we have close to 200 vehicles on the ground and coming in. And with vehicles starting at $29.95, we have something for everyone. And if you need parts or service, we are loading up at both locations to serve you better. Plus, with our mobile service van and our pickup and delivery, we can help you with sales and service no matter where you are. So come see us at Sam Wampler's Freedom Ford in McAlester and Eufaula and let us make it happen for you.
Welcome back to Mike Deak Field here in McAlester. Almost an hour, I guess not an hour technically because we were paused, but almost an hour in from when our broadcast started here at 5:55. Bottom half of the second inning as McAlester trails it 9-0 to Collinsville. First pitch swinging here for the Buffs is Kelsey Rowell. That's going to be a single, possibly even a double as it rolls on past the left field line, and she's going to be standing up with a leadoff double. So Kelsey Rowell, her first hit of the season after going 0-2 yesterday. So now 1 for 3. That was a first pitch swinging, and it's kind of reminiscent of what the Cardinals have been doing to McAlester. Just dropped it in over the third base's head and a little bit farther away from the shortstop, right on the right side of the left field line. So on the fair side. Then it rolled out, allowing her to take second base. So now Carly Lamore stepping up for her first at bat of the game. She'll square to bunt, but it rolls backwards after the hit. So it's going to be a foul ball, and we'll resume play here in a moment. But first runner in scoring position for McAlester, also their first hit of the game. Second base runner, though, got on via the error back in the first inning. And Reed is taking her time here, gets back in the circle, looking at Lamore with the 0-1 count. Squares to bunt, but didn't pull back in time on a ball that was not even close, and the runner is very close, slides in safe at third. Nice job, and the wherewithal by Rowell to take third base after that wild pitch. So now the downside is Lamore, she did not get her bat back in time on a pitch that was above her head, and so now it's 0-2 instead of 1-1, but now you've got the runner in scoring, or farther over in scoring position, just 60 feet closer to home, which really was your goal with the bunt here. So now swinging away with 2 strikes. Outside, so 1-2.
That was very close over there at third. I'll say that much.
It was close. I thought she was going to be rung up. We'll take it, though. Again, it's harder to make those calls from home plate. So here's the 1-2 to Lamore. Swings, hits a blooper right towards the middle of the field. It's a roller, and they're just going to throw it over to third base because Rowell got a little bit farther away, but she slides back in safe, so everybody's safe. Now, that won't officially go down as a hit for Lamore. That'll be a fielder's choice. But that'll help the on-base percentage. Now you've got runners on the corners for Shiley Mason, a pitcher-on-pitcher matchup.
I mean, get on any way you can, right?
You'll take it however you can take it. Just a little bloop single that fell right in front of the second base bag. And just a decision to throw it over to third as Raul was only a quarter of the way home, but ended up allowing the runner to be safe for the Buffs. So first pitch to Mason, going for a pitch in the dirt with a bunt attempt. Couldn't pull it back in time, so it's 0-1. But they're trying to get this bunt across. Again, it's early in the season. A lot of these players, this is the first time they're bunting in a game situation in a long time, unless they played summer softball, which some of them did. Mentioned Embry House was one of those, played for the Epic National 1800 team in Norman. The 0-1 to Mason, called strike. A runner is going to take second base, but a double steal allows the run to come home. Kelsey Rowell from third, stealing home, while Lamore going from first to second. Holly behind the plate threw it down to second base, and that is what allowed Rowell to come down the line and score. So the Buffaloes get their first run here in the bottom of the second as they trail at 9-1. It is an 0-2 count to Shiley Mason, though. She'll step back in. No outs so far. Here's the windup from Reed. Upstairs, but Mason trying to swing at it, couldn't catch up to the fastball. That is her first strikeout, and that is the second strikeout of the game now for Collinsville defensively. That'll bring up 8-hole Coral Coy, her first at-bat of the summer, as she only played in the field yesterday as a designated player. So her first at-bat, as I mentioned. Trying to square to bunt. It's a called strike. Didn't get back in time, but either way, it was called a strike. So 0-1 with one out, runner on second base. So consistent runners in scoring position for McAlester here in the second inning. First time that's happened so far in the two games. Here's the 0-1. Coy watches a pitch upstairs, and just having to be walked back is Lamore, just eyeballing Holly at home, just kind of playing chicken, waiting to see who goes back or see if she throws first, and she was walked back. So 1-1 is the count here to Coy. One out on the inning here in the bottom half of the second. Pitch to Coy is fouled backwards. Just a little bit late and underneath it.
On that last pitch, you had the center fielder coming in, covering second base to kind of walk the runner back.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, as you mentioned that the infield is playing extremely shallow here. They're playing on what would be the high school baseball infield. So anything hit hard to either corner, you're going to get extra bases. Coy watches a pitch outside. So it's 2-2. Nice eye that time. Trying to get on base however you can here. Mentioned that Reed, she is throwing some gas here from the center circle. So McAlester has not had an easy start with the pitchers they've had to face. Coy fouls this pitch off down the first base line, trying to grab it, but Cotton couldn't get there in time outside of her outstretched hands. So the count doesn't change. It'll stay at 2-2. Still just one out. There is not really a double play opportunity, but we can see what happened yesterday where there was a line drive hit to the second baseman, and the Buffalo was thrown out on the base pass because they couldn't get back in time. Here's the 2-2. Coy hits it to the right side over the first baseman's head, and that might, though, not score a run because the outfield was playing so far in, and that is exactly what happens. So Lamore moves from second to third on the single, and Coral Coy, her first hit of the season.
You always love seeing that.
You love seeing that. The only, as I mentioned, the downside is those outfielders are playing so far in that what probably should have been an RBI single is just a single. But again, not going to complain about a single. And now that'll bring up 9-hole Bailey Caldwell. Caldwell has just one at bat yesterday where she struck out. Not everybody got to bat twice yesterday. First pitch is high and not there, and a runner still second base, and a runner at third is going to go home. It's the same thing again. A double steal. Carly Lamore comes in from third base as Coral Coy takes second. So the Buffaloes firing back here in the bottom of the second, matching that 2 spot above them in the second frame. So it's 9-2, and now they're going to talk about it on the infield as McAlester has done that twice, and it's worked both times. And we'll see if that'll be something that changes here for Collinsville, if that's something they pick up on or plan to game plan from here on out, or we'll see if Coach Jernigan plans to implement that the farther along this one goes. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I was going to say, you run that strategy into the ground until Collinsville proves they can defend it.
Exactly.
I mean, just like you would in football, if a team can't stop the run, you don't start throwing deep passes.
Yeah. That's a little shot at Lincoln Riley, by the way.
Unintentionally, but yes.
I know, but I'm always down for it. So here's the 0-1. It's going to get past the catcher on a pitch in the dirt. That's going to allow Coy to take third base. So McAlester now has had 3 batters reach third base here in this second inning. That's more than what they had in totality yesterday. So again, while the scoreboard might not read in favor of the Buffaloes, a lot of positives to take away from what you've seen so far. It's in both games, it's been the first inning that has really hurt you. So here's the 1-1 to Caldwell. Swings underneath and behind a fastball, so 1-2. Caldwell playing in center field today, just as she did yesterday as well. And I would assume that most of these players will get at least 2 at-bats today. We'll see how things go. That is going to be a swing and a miss and a strikeout. So Caldwell now 0 for 2 on the season, and at-bat in each game now, both strikeouts. But the lineup turns back over to the top, and that'll bring up Rylan Less now, who struck out her first time up back in the first inning. But as Nate pointed out in her first at-bat, not afraid to swing the bat.
Right, no, I'm looking forward to seeing what she's bringing to the plate here, especially after seeing this pitcher the first time around.
First pitch to Les now is a little bit outside, so 1-0. Buffalo's just seeing the pitcher a little bit better here in the second. We're now officially going through the lineup for a second time, and we'll see if that makes a difference here. Reed has already given up a hit, 3 hits this inning, I should say. Here's the 1-0. Nice eye by Les now. Watches a pitch almost in the same spot, high and outside. 2-0 with a runner on third base. 2 outs, though. But trying to grab as many runs as you can here as you cut the deficit from 9 to 7. Try to make it 6. Here's the 2-0. Les now fouls the pitch backwards. Les now one of many underclassmen on this team, just a sophomore who is also a starter from last year. So this will be a name to become familiar with. And it's not like being a McAlester, you don't already know the Les Now name.
Right, and she actually started as a freshman for the varsity basketball team last year as well.
Definitely a name in McAlester Athletics that is already known. So 2-1 fouled backwards. It's 2-2. So we've kind of got 2s wild here. It's a 2-ball, 2-strike count with 2 outs. 2 runs scored from McAlester in the inning.
In the bottom of the second.
In the bottom of the second, and number 2 is up to bat. I always love pointing that out. I'm a big deuces wild kind of guy.
Well, that's what, 6 2s right there?
Yeah, something like that. Here's the 2-2. Les now rips it out to the outfield, but not deep enough as it's grabbed by Crane in left field. If that would have got down, would have been an extra base hit. So McAlester, they do get 2 runs back as they trail it now 9-2. We'll head to the top half of the third inning. You're listening to Lady Buff Softball on 98.3 KNED.
McAlester Clothing Consignment accepts consignments on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. All items must be gently used and in good shape. Please label all bags, boxes, or totes with the consignor's name. The limit on bags is 2 13-gallon bags per consignor per week. The consignment split is 50-50. Hey, bargain shoppers, we have all types of clothing, home decor, toys, hand tools, handbags, jewelry, sports equipment, and more. McAlester Clothing Consignment, 405 East Chickasaw Avenue, Suite B, McAlester. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., Sundays 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Call 918-318-7986.
McAlester Softball and Volleyball is being sponsored by Consignment Exchange, and I've been doing commercials for them since I was 8 years old. Here's the connection. My great-grandfather and grandmother started the business over 50 years ago. Now my papa, Nana, and Aunt Cleora have continued. The idea was to give a place where folks could buy quality previously owned furniture, and now it's grown as a place where families who need to liquidate estates or simply have something they need to sell, Consignment Exchange is that place. At 9 years old, I came up with the tag of McAllister's favorite furniture store is Consignment, Highway 69 South, and it still is.
Welcome back to Mike Deak Field here in McAlester, top half of the third inning as Collinsville's back up to bat with Reed, a pitcher-on-pitcher matchup. First pitch from Mason is outside. So 1-0 here. McAlester, they got 2 back in the bottom half of the second inning. They trailed Collinsville 9-2. Collinsville put up a 7 spot in the first, a 2 spot in the second. They actually were matched by McAlester offensively in the second inning. We'll see how things roll along from here on out. Catches the corner on the 1-0 pitch. It's 1-1. Nice location from Mason, who has looked more crisp today, I will say, than what she did yesterday.
Right. I mean, might have been just some first game jitters, but looking great out there today so far.
The 1-1, it's going to be popped up on the infield, pushing foul, and that's actually going to range out of play. It looked more like it was in play, but over behind the third base dugout.
She really has looked good today. It's just been a lot of unfortunate.
It is, yeah.
Just where the ball's landing.
Yeah, it's been spot hitting for Collinsville. They can see the spots, whether it be intentional or not. They've hit pretty much all the open gaps. The 1-2 is rolled to House with a nice block, so it's worked even. But still a pitcher's count here. You've got 2 more balls to work with if you want to try and get her swinging. But it's 2-2 to the leadoff hitter of this inning. Reed is already 1 for 2 today, has an infield single. Hits that one right to the third baseman. It's gloved and thrown over for the first out. Nice job by Casey Woods for the 5-3 ground out. That is the first out of the innings. That is the first time today that McAlester has gotten the leadoff runner out on defense. And I don't have my stats from yesterday. I would assume that's the first time in 2 games as well. I could be wrong. I'm just guessing, but first time today they've done that. Going to try and get a 1-2-3 inning here. Would be huge, especially going back on the offensive side. First pitch tonight. Looks like she was squaring to bunt, but pulled back in time. So 1-0 is the count. Hope you've enjoyed your Tuesday up to this point. First 2 days of the week hopefully have gone well. We're just about halfway through it, folks, so hold on a little while longer. Here's the 1-0. Little bit low. Just looked kind of weird going into the glove of House. It's called a ball, so 2-0. Mentioned earlier, 17 days until the start of McAlester High School football right here on KNED. Also until the start of Oklahoma Sooners football. The 2-0 is in the dirt and outside, so 3-0. Which also will be on KNED, but not the first game because we do have a bit of a scheduling issue. That first OU game will kick off at 6 that Friday, and then the McAlester game will kick off at 7:30. Here's the 3-0 squaring to bunt, but really no intentions of butting with the 3-0 count. And it was thrown in the dirt, so it's a walk. So Knight takes first. She's gotten on base all 3 times. She has a triple, a single, and a walk. And that'll bring up Kavanaugh, who so far has a double and a single. RBIs on just the first hit. But the double play is available here. First pitch from McAlester. It's a called strike. Runner goes. Throw in time. Tag was there, but they're going to say she slid underneath it. And she's going to run to third for some reason, but she's tagged trying to take third base. I don't really know what Knight thought there. Maybe she thought the ball got away from her, but she stole second base, got a little overzealous, tried to take third, and good job by Lamore to have the wherewithal to turn and look and just throw it over to get the out. That was a bit wacky.
I don't see the point in taking third there.
I'm with you. Maybe a coach said something, or maybe she just thought the ball went on into the outfield. I'm not quite sure. But either way, it's 2 outs now as you're facing Kavanaugh here. Slow roller over to third base. It's gloved by Wood. She'll throw it over, and that is a 1-2-3 inning by McAlester, and it's the second time that they've gotten somebody out on the base pass throughout Knight, trying to steal second to third base, and no runs given up by McAlester that time. We'll go ahead and take it into the bottom half of the third inning. McAlester trails it 9-2 against Collinsville. You're listening to Lady Buff Softball on 1150 AM, 98.3 FM, KNED.
McAlester Softball and Volleyball is being sponsored by Consignment Exchange, and I've been doing commercials for them since I was 8 years old. Here's the connection. My great-grandfather and grandmother started the business over 50 years ago. Now my papa, Nana, and Aunt Cleora have continued. The idea was to give a place where folks could buy quality previously owned furniture, and now it's grown as a place where families who need to liquidate estates or simply have something they need to sell, Consignment Exchange is that place. At I'm 9 years old, I came up with the tag of McAllister's favorite furniture store is Consignment, Highway 69 South, and it still is.
Hey guys, it's Sam from Sam Wampler's Freedom Ford in McAlester and Eufaula. With 2 locations to choose from, we have close to 200 vehicles on the ground and coming in. And with vehicles starting at $29.95, we have something for everyone. And if you need parts or service, we are loading up at both locations to serve you better. Plus, with our mobile service van and our pickup and delivery, we can help you with sales and service no matter where you are. So come see us at Sam Wampler's Freedom Ford in McAlester and Eufaula and let us make it happen for you.
Welcome back to Mike Deak Field out of that break from the top half of the third to the bottom half. McAlester gave up no runs defensively there to the Cardinals. So now the bottom half of the third inning, leadoff batter here for McAlester is Avery Alberson. She'll try and keep things rolling as McAlester has a little bit of momentum here. They scored 2 runs in the bottom of the second, didn't give up any in the top half of the third, and now they can crawl back even more here in the bottom half of the third. They trail at 9-2. Here's the 1-0. There's another pitch in the dirt. That one bounces straight off the plate and goes back into the netting in front of some of that McAlester faithful.
Right, and right now you don't need to get all 7 runs back all at once. You can just chip away at that lead. If you can get this down to maybe a 4 or 5 run lead here, or for Collinsville, I think you'd still feel pretty good about that.
Here's the 2-0. A little bit outside, so a very hitter-friendly count with a 3-0 count here. It's just going to be a take all the way. But McAlester, they could get a leadoff batter on base for the second time in a row. We'll see how things go here in the bottom half of the third. Reed is eyeballing home plate, gets the call. Here's her windup and the pitch. It's low, and McAlester for 2 straight innings gets the leadoff batter on base. Avery Alberson now 2 for 2 on getting on. She reached via the error back in the first inning, and now she's grabbed a walk. And we're going to have a pitching conversation at the center circle as Reed and her head coach are going to talk just a little bit about that walk and just, I guess, what McAlester has been doing offensively recently here. But Nate, a lot more positives for McAlester today, and I know the score is what it is, but it feels a lot closer as well.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a 7-run lead for Collinsville. I'd say it honestly only feels like they're up about 4 right now.
Yeah.
I mean, just my personal guess.
I'm with you because it feels like McAlester has picked up some momentum here. Hopefully it rolls over onto the batting side of things and it rolls along as the game goes. But we'll see as Casey Woods steps up with a runner on first base. Now the double play is available for the Cardinals here, but we'll see if Woods can't do something differently here. His first pitch to her, loads up and watches the pitch outside. 5 straight balls to start this inning from Reed in that center circle for the Cardinals. So she's certainly got the steam on the pitch to blow by somebody, but she just hasn't had that location so far here in this third inning. Here's the 1-0. Another ball, so 6 straight balls to start this inning for the Cardinals. So it's 2-0.
I don't see anyone warming up over in the Collinsville bullpen either. Just heads up.
You've got a better view than I do, so I appreciate that. Here's the 2-0. Finally, a called strike, and a runner is going to steal second base, and it's a bad throw to second, but I don't think, no, Woods is going to go, and no, she will wait. I think that's the smart choice. I thought she was going to hold up, then got about a quarter of the way to third, and then held up. It was also funny because it looked like they fooled Cotton, the first base for Collinsville, because there was a throw down to first base from Holly after that pitch. It's 2-1, by the way, to Casey Woods, who's batting. And then the throw down to first base led to Alberson being like, well, I'll steal second. That's exactly what she did. So now a runner in scoring position once again for McAlester. Woods swings and misses at a pitch that's a little bit low, but very hittable. It's 2-2 now. So no outs. McAlester in a good spot to at least get one back here. We'll see how Reed responds for the Cardinals. Here's the 2-2. Fouled backwards, just staying alive was Woods there. Casey Woods, so far on the season, still looking for her first hit of the season. Went 0 for 2 yesterday. She's 0 for 1 today. And as I mentioned, looking for her first hit. This will be a huge time for it. Those outfielders are back up now, closer to the wall. Here's the 2-2, and Woods swings and misses. That is a strikeout. That is her first strikeout of the season. And that is the first out of the inning against the Buffaloes. So Ambry House will step up. House was 1 for 1 yesterday with a single, also got on via the walk, so got on base both times. And now to start things off here, she flew out to right field. First pitch to her is a ball.
Now that
a called strike.
That one was for sure a changeup.
That was a changeup.
Yeah, because it looked like it fell off a table.
So a good pitch from Reed there. Was able to get the called strike. So it's 0-1 here with 1 out. Just outside, trying to paint that black on the corner, but not able to quite get there. So it's evened up at 1-1 here with just 1 out. McAlester also has 1 runner on base. Not quite the same as 2's Wild. I can say it doesn't hit quite the same.
No, not quite.
So here's the 1-1. That pitch was an off-speed pitch. They didn't quite get to home plate, so it was bounced in. So 2-1. And Reed has looked noticeably different just in terms of how dominant she was since the first inning. Had a 4-batter faced first inning, and then she had to go through 6 Buffaloes in the second, gave up 2 runs, and now she's on the 3rd batter with just 1 out so far. She's taken a bit of a timeout to wipe off some sweat. She's going to throw her pitcher's guard back on her face, and then we'll resume play. But the Buffaloes a good position here to at least get 1 back. Anything in play could pay off dividends. And that pitch gets past the catcher on the wild throw. That allows the runner to advance. So once again, for the second straight inning, McAlester has a base runner on third base. 2 straight innings as well with a base runner in scoring position.
Just got to start stringing together some consistent offense here.
So big opportunity for Ambry House here. Here's the 3-1. That one's popped up right over our heads and cleared our roof.
Yeah, I'm more listening for any
car
car alarms.
Yeah, I didn't quite think that was going to clear us, but it did. That one was hit pretty hard this way. And I wonder how thick this glass is as well.
I've seen a ball actually hit this while we were in here. Did not go through it, thank goodness.
Interesting. I would not like to test that theory. Here's the 3-2. House rips it to deep center field. It's going to be right at the wall, and it's caught. Man, just about 2 or 3 steps at the wall, but that's going to be a sacrifice fly as Avery Alberson will come in to score a run. Man, House just feet away from a 2-run home run. So now that is the second out of the inning, and McAlester, they get a run back, trailing by 6. It's 9-3. Here in the bottom half of the 3rd inning. McAlester clawing back a little bit. They're on a 3-0 scoring run here. First pitch to Rallies, high and outside. She had a double her last time up. She had just a blooper over the third base's head, fell on the fair side of the left field foul line, and then rolled foul after it already cleared third base. So that little leak out, farther out foul allowed her to take second base. Rowell watches another pitch. It's just outside. And something I hadn't thought about until just now from earlier, but that umpire still not back out here. So
I did see him walking around a little bit out in the grass area behind the McAlester dugout.
Well, hopefully he's feeling a lot better. Here's the 2-0 to Rowell. It's upstairs, so 3-0. Nice job by these McAlester pitchers, really since that, or hitters, since this first inning, really have settled in at the plate. Looks like they're seeing the ball a lot better. And as I mentioned, it's culminated to what has been 3 straight unanswered runs. Another pitch high. That's a 4-pitch walk as Rowell will take first base. That is her first walk of the game and of the season. So now that will bring up Carly Lamore. Her first time up got on via the fielder's choice. That's when she hit a ground ball, and they tried to throw Rowell out over at third. It did not work. First pitch to her here. Swing and a miss. Just a tick late. You can tell she kind of loaded up some power on that one.
Well, I think McAlester sees they can hit this pitcher. They're seeing her well, and they're not afraid to put a little power behind that. Yeah. Not exactly hitting for contact here.
Here's the 0-1. Lamore watches it upstairs, so 1-1 works it even. 6-run deficit. McAlester trails it 9-3. And it looks like Reed, she's been roughed up a little bit this inning, just doesn't look quite as solid as she did early on. As Lamore swings under a fastball that time. As soon as I say that, she gets a swing and a miss. So it's 1-2 here with 2 outs. She does have a strikeout in every inning as well. She's got 4. 1 in the first, 2 in the second, and 1 here in the third. Here's the 1-2 with 2 outs. Lamore swings and misses for a strikeout, the second strikeout of the inning for the Buffs, and their third out offensively. They do get 1 run back thanks to a couple of walks and a sac fly from Ambry House, and they now trail it 9-3. Before we go to a break, I want to say Consignment Exchange has new mattresses. I know many of you know them as a place for quality pre-owned furniture, but also very exclusively now new mattresses. It's important to know that they are hundreds of dollars less than retail because they are name brands that are factory closeouts and discontinued covers plus other factors. They don't advertise brands, they sell them as is. For those reasons, you can buy a high-end name brand mattress and keep money in your pocket. You go try one out today. McAllister's favorite furniture store is Consignment, Highway 69 South. We'll be back in 60 seconds.
Hey guys, it's Sam from Sam Wampler's Freedom Ford in McAlester and Eufaula. With 2 locations to choose from, we have close to 200 vehicles on the ground and coming in. And with vehicles starting at $29.95, we have something for everyone. And if you need parts or service, we are loading up at both locations to serve you better. Plus, with our mobile service van and our pickup and delivery, we can help you with sales and service no matter where you are. So come see us at Sam Wampler's Freedom Ford in McAlester and Eufaula and let us make it happen for you.
Welcome back to Mike Deak Field here in McAlester, where the Buffaloes, they're steadily climbing back from what was a 9-0 deficit, now only down by 6 runs. It's 9-3 here in the top half of the 4th inning. And so far, it's really just been McAlester making really good hits, getting some walks here and there as well. And what's culminated now to what is 3 runs for the Buffaloes. And now we're in the 4th inning. McAlester had a 1-2-3 inning defensively last time up thanks to a double play turned on a runner trying to take a second stolen base. And we're thrown out on the base paths, and now that'll bring up Cotton here for her 3rd at bat of the game. Had a hit by pitch back in the 1st and a pop out in the 2nd. So she'll try and get things started here for her Cardinals. First pitch to her looked like it was off speed, a little bit high. Also, I will say Collinsville, their C logo looks a lot like the Cincinnati Reds. That is what the jerseys look like to me as well.
Yeah, and their football logo looks a lot like the Arizona Cardinals.
Cardinals, yes. So it looks like that pitch was outside as well. So 2-0, I do believe, is the count.
Yeah, 2-0. There we go. Scoreboard caught up.
That's what I was talking about yesterday. You know, with the scoreboard, sometimes it can get you in trouble. Here's the 2-0. Swinging right over an off-speed pitch. Nice job that time by Shiley Mason to pull the rug on her. So 2-1 to get back into this count.
I mean, that's why you just watch the stream and watch our scoreboard, right?
That's true. That is very true. Best in the biz right here. Swinging at a pitch that would have been in the dirt, so that benefits McAlester. It was fouled off, so it's 2-2. But Cotton just getting a little overzealous there. That pitch I don't think would have reached home plate, at least without a bounce.
Yeah, it looked like she hit it after the bounce.
It did kind of look that way. So it ends up being a strike. So 2-2 here. Pitch is high and outside. Cotton looked like she kind of thought maybe that was ball 4 for a second, but it's not. Ball 3 here. So it's worked full. Mason did not give up a walk in the 2nd inning. She did in the 3rd, though. The 3-2, that one's fouled off right over at the field house. So the count will remain the same at 3-2. Temperature has dropped 1 degree here in the hour and a half that we've been here. So
that's going to make a difference,
hope
right?
you guys are feeling that out there. I'll tell you, we're freezing up here. Here's the payoff pitch. Another foul. Looks like Cotton is just kind of swinging away here. So Mason will try it once again, looking for a put-out pitch. We'll try and continue to get the first out of the inning here. Want to avoid giving up a leadoff runner. You got the first runner out of the last inning. A golf swing at a pitch that was low. I mentioned Cotton. Looks like she's just swinging at everything here. but she does foul it off.
And it does look like we have some activity out there in the McAlester bullpen. Looks like Kinley Brown is out there warming up.
So it looks like Mason, her day could be done coming up soon, but we'll see how long they stick with her here. We'll have another payoff pitch incoming. Another pop-up, and Embry House is going to have an opportunity to catch it, and she will. That's going to be a pop-out to the catcher for out number 1. So now Richardson will step up. She's got the only 2 strikeouts today. Those are all 2 strikeouts that Mason has.
14, Richardson.
So it could be a good opportunity to grab the second out of the inning here. First pitch to her, swing and a miss. Was a little bit over the top of it. So 0-1 starting out with a pitcher's count. That wind, I will say, looks like it's died down a little bit as well. So you're not really going to get much carry, not that you were getting any to start the game. That pitch is going to be a slow ground ball hit right to second base for a ground out. So 2 up, 2 down for Mason and the Buffaloes.
To the plate, number 17.
That was just kind of a nubbed ground ball, not hit super hard, just a one-hopper over to Lamore, grabbed it, threw it over to Rowell, and now we've got 1 out, or 2 outs, I beg your pardon. And Ford steps up to bat, who is 2 for 2, has an infield single and just a regular single. First pitch to her is low at the ankles, so 1-0. She does have 2 RBIs as well. She's got a 1-0 count. Pitch in the dirt, nice grab by House. So 2-0 here. Shiley Mason, though, I will say she has settled in and she has looked pretty good today. Just really some opportune hitting by the Cardinals, finding open spots. And sometimes you're just going to have days like that. Here's the 2-0. Pitch is hit down the third base line, trying to backhand it, but it's foul. So first strike of the at-bat here, 2-1 with 2 outs. This McAlester team, they only averaged around 5 runs per game offensively last year, so not a crazy high number. And so far in these 2 games, averaging about 2 runs a game with 1 yesterday and 3 today. And this game is obviously not over. That 2-1 is a little bit upstairs. So it's 3-1 now, a hitter's count. Mason taking a little bit longer break, getting her signal from the dugout. She'll step back in. Here's the windup, the 3-1. It's going to be a hit that falls in front of the left fielder. So solid contact at home plate. Just another blooper that falls right beyond the hands of the shortstop going out into left field. Avery Alberson gets it in, but not before the hit is given up. So that does end what was a streak of 6 straight outs for the Buffs, going all the way back to the 2nd inning.
And if you're Mason out there, you can't let that bother you.
It's true. Just got to settle in here. You still got 2 outs.
It's only 1 runner on. Just focus on the hitter ahead of you and get out of the inning, get your offense back out there.
Have 2 straight scoreless innings. That would be huge for the Buffaloes, as they were not able to get any scoreless innings defensively yesterday. So here's the 0-1. 2 outs here. The windup. Runner thought about going, but stays back, and that pitch is a ball. And I do apologize. It looks like we might have lost some connection to our outfield cam. We'll see what we can get figured out here. Could have something to do with the heat or the walking back and forth to the bullpen, but hopefully we can get that sorted out for you very quickly. We still got a camera working. Here's the 1-1, though, with 2 outs, just outside. So 2-1 here from Mason. Still, though, a good opportunity to get out of this inning with another goose egg put up defensively against the Cardinals, which is what you need here after giving up 9 in the first 2. Just another opportunity as well for the Buffaloes to claw back. Pitch is going to be hit on the screws, but it's foul. So it's going to be back to an even count, 2-2 with 2 outs here, 1 runner on, and number 2 at the plate. Helm so far today is 2 for 2, has a double and a single, 1 RBI as well. So Mason taking another long look over at the dugout. Here's the 2-2. Snubbed off the end of the bat. A slow roller to the pitcher. Grabs it off one hop and throws it over for out number 3. So 2 straight scoreless innings for the Buffaloes defensively as we now head to the bottom half of the 4th inning, trailing 9-3. We'll be right back. You're listening to McAlester Softball on 98.3 KNED.
McAlester Clothing Consignment accepts consignments on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. All items must be gently used and in good shape. Please label all bags, boxes, or totes with the consignor's name. The limit on bags is 2 13-gallon bags per consignor per week. The consignment split is 50-50. Hey, bargain shoppers, we have all types of clothing, home decor, toys, hand tools, handbags, jewelry, sports equipment, and more. McAlester Clothing Consignment, 405 East Chickasaw Avenue, Suite B, McAlester. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., Sundays 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Call 918-318-7986.
McAlester Softball and Volleyball is being sponsored by Consignment Exchange, and I've been doing commercials for them since I was 8 years old. Here's the connection. My great-grandfather and grandmother started the business over 50 years ago. Now my papa, Nana, and Aunt Cleora have continued. The idea was to give a place where folks could buy quality previously owned furniture, and now it's grown as a place where families who need to liquidate estates or simply have something they need to sell, Consignment Exchange is that place. At 9 years old, I came up with the tag of McAllister's favorite furniture store is Consignment, Highway 69 South, and it still is.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Mike Deak Field here in McAlester, Oklahoma. So my man Nate is making a run down the field to try and figure out what's wrong with our camera right now in the outfield, but you should still have audio, and we've got one camera angle, and I actually may need to maneuver something just really quickly. I'm not going anywhere. Just hold on for just 2 seconds. Alrighty, I do believe you guys should still be able to hear me. So now kind of having to man the camera here while doing this, again, while Nate is downstairs, trying to figure out what's wrong with that camera. Not really sure what the issue was, but it's the bottom half of the 4th inning now. First pitch is bounced to home plate for Shiley Mason. It's another pitcher v. pitcher matchup here at home plate. Mason so far today has just a strikeout, so it's her second at bat of the game. Here's the second pitch to her, the 1-0. It's going to be hit up the first base line, but on the foul side. So 1-1 now is the count. Again, thank you guys for joining us on this Tuesday. It's a little bit weird. We weren't expecting to do this game here today. Found out yesterday that things were going to be switched up, so that's why you've got us back to back. The 1-1 to Shiley Mason, called strike. So 1-2 is the count now. And Mason is up against it. We'll see how she gets things rolling along here. I do think that maybe our first camera is back. Let's see. It is. Camera 1 is back. So thank you, Nate. The 1-2 is outside. So 2-2 now is the count. 9-3 the score. Buffaloes trail it by 6 here. Gave up 9 runs in the first 2 innings and now have scored 3 straight unanswered. The 1-2 is high and outside. So it's now worked even. Check that. It's now worked full. 3-2 is the count here. Trying to be a leadoff base runner, getting on base for the third straight inning it would be actually. Outside, and that's a walk. Shiley Mason works a leadoff walk here. And the Buffaloes might be back in business, trying to come back trailing 9-3. And we might have a courtesy runner. And we will. It's going to be Paisley Mullins, who has been courtesy running since yesterday. And now while Nate is coming up here, I'm going to go ahead and swap headsets back. So just give me 2 seconds. All righty. Hopefully everything still sounds all right for you guys. So now that'll bring up Coral Coy, who has a single in her only at-bat of the season up to this point, and a stolen base, trying to square to bunt, but a pitch is in the dirt and stayed squared around, so it's a called strike. So 0-1 is the count. Nate, you're Superman, man. Just want to point that out. He went down there and fixed camera 1 for us. So that's why you've got what you've got now. Here's the 0-1. Runner is going to go and not even an attempt to throw, as that's a stolen bag by Paisley Mullins, the pinch runner. Make sure I jot that down for later. So the 1-1 count now to Coy. Hits that one down the first base line very slowly. It works as a bunt, which is what she wanted to do. So the runner is over at third base now. I'm going to put that down as a sacrifice bunt. I know technically it was not, but that's good enough for me because that's what you wanted to accomplish out of that. So hit it off the end of the bat.
Number 3, Bailey Caldwell.
So now that will bring up Bailey Caldwell, the 9-hole, with a runner in scoring position. Squaring to bunt. It's going to roll right up the third base line, so the runner can't go anywhere. They'll just have to make the play at first. Smart job over there by Plummer, or excuse me, not Plummer, I don't know where that came from, but Mullins, by Mullins over there to stay put. That way you don't lose that opportunity to score a run. You'd rather have the out at first base than at home.
Number 2, Rylan.
So now back to the top half of the order as Rylan Lesnow, who's 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a fly out to left field. That fly out to left field, though, was hit on the screws. First pitch to Lesnow is a ball. So 1-0 is the count here with 2 outs, a runner on third. This is a big opportunity, though, for McAlester to try and get at least 1 run back. Here's the 1-0. Called strike to Lesnow on a pitch above the knees. That was a good spot for Reed. She gets the call. So now, Lesnow, you're not up against it at all. It's still a hitter's count, 1-1 here. But got to be protected. Here's the 1-1. Pitch outside. Nice job by Lesnow. 2-1 now. With a runner on third base, this would be huge. This would make it 9-4. Just anything really that's hit through the infield is possible, and even if it doesn't get out of the infield, might score a run. 2-1, it's hit very hard up the middle, and that's going to leak out to the outfield, and that is an RBI single for Rylan Lesnow. For Lesnow, that is her first RBI of the season, her first hit of the game as well, and her second hit overall on the season. So now that'll bring home technically Shiley Mason, but she's being pinch ran for Paisley Mullins. First pitch swinging now for Avery Alberson. It's a ground out to third base, so it's thrown over for the 5-3 for the final out of the inning. McAlester, though, does get 1 run back as it's 9-4. We're going to head to the top half of the 5th inning. You're listening to McAlester Softball on 98.3 KNED.
Hey guys, it's Sam from Sam Wampler's Freedom Ford in McAlester and Eufaula. With 2 locations to choose from, we have close to 200 vehicles on the ground and coming in. And with vehicles starting at $29.95, we have something for everyone. And if you need parts or service, we are loading up at both locations to serve you better. Plus, with our mobile service van and our pickup and delivery, we can help you with sales and service no matter where you are. So come see us at Sam Wampler's Freedom Ford in McAlester and Eufaula and let us make it happen for you.
McAlester Clothing Consignment accepts consignments on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. All items must be gently used and in good shape. Please label all bags, boxes, or totes with the consignor's name. The limit on bags is 2 13-gallon bags per consignor per week. The consignment split is 50-50. Hey, bargain shoppers, we have all types of clothing, home decor, toys, hand tools, handbags, jewelry, sports equipment, and more. McAlester Clothing Consignment, 405 East Chickasaw Avenue, Suite B, McAlester. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., Sundays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Call 918-318-7986.
Welcome back to Mike Deak Field here, top half of the 5th inning. This is officially now the longest game of the season for the McAlester Buffaloes. Only game number 2, just kind of wanted to make a little joke there. This game yesterday only went 4 innings, so now we're into the 5th. McAlester trails it 9-4. First pitch is going to be swung on. It's going to be hit over to the left field side for a single. So leading things off here is Holly, who is now 2 for 2 and has been on base all 3 times that she's gone up to the plate. She has a walk in the first, an infield single in the second.
Looks like we're going to have another courtesy runner here.
And a courtesy runner, for the catcher. I believe this is Mars once again coming into courtesy run for the catcher.
Now batting, number 3, Crane.
So now stepping up is Crane, the 9-hole. First pitch to her is outside, 1-0.
I think I'm finally back from all that.
Yeah, Nate, you had to sprint down to the left field, behind the left field wall, and go halfway down over to center field, probably more left center field, to fix that camera issue that we had. And we're glad that you did, so we can keep, our very high-quality broadcast going.
Got to keep the people entertained, right?
First pitch to Crane is in the dirt, so it's 2-0. Check that. And you're exactly right. We've heard nothing but compliments so far on this camera angle, so want to make sure that we can provide it as well. So 2-0 is the count here with a runner on first base. The 9-hole Crane watching the windup. Kind of tried to do the walking swing, but didn't gather that time or give. So it's 3-0 on a pitch out of the zone. So trying to avoid giving up back-to-back base runners to start the 5th inning here. Called strike on the 3-0 pitch. Good job to get back into that there. So 3-1 is the count. Still a very hitter-heavy count here. But anything close, you would think Crane's going to be swinging, and she is. She's going to foul that one backwards. So you've worked it full now. So 3-2 is the count. Trying to get out number 1 with a runner on first base for Collinsville. A double play would be huge here for the Lady Buffs.
Very much ideal.
They have scored 4 straight runs without Collinsville responding. The 3-2, man, just off the plate. That's a walk. Believe that is a 6-pitch walk. So now Holly moves over to second base, and Crane takes first for the 2nd time today. She's got a single and a walk, and that means the lineup will turn back over to the top half as Reed will come back up to the plate. Also the pitcher. She's 1 for 3, has a ground out RBI, an infield single where she scored, and a ground out to third base. House blocks that pitch that I don't think it was in the dirt, just lower. It was pretty low, not as low as she thought it was going to be, but hit the glove bounce, but she held on to it, didn't let it get past her. So 1-0 the count with runners on first and second. Remember, the last time these two teams played was some theatrics as McAlester came back in the bottom of the 7th, was down 4-3, tied it with a home run, and then hit an inside the park home run to win the game. That 1-0 pitch is called a strike. So 1-1. Don't know if we'll get that here today, but certainly would be a very cool thing to see. Here's the 1-1. Pitch is fouled backwards by Reed. So 1-2. As Mason has now clawed her way back and got 2 strikes on the batter with just 1 ball. So you've got some pitches to work with here.
Now, I will say, I know it's not very common in softball, but you do have a triple play.
That's true.
In order.
It's a lot harder, and I would also say / easier. Just kind of depends. The 1-2 is hit right at the shortstop, and that's made for a line out, and that's a double play. That's what we saw yesterday against the Buffaloes, and now the Buffaloes get it. We almost had your triple play, Nate.
Man, I almost spoke that into existence.
You almost spoke that into existence. So now Holly is thrown out on the base. Well, she's tagged out the force on her bag because she didn't tag up. Let me make sure I mark that down. But it was a line drive from Reed hit right at, I believe it was Les now, who caught it and then threw it over to Lamore at second base to get the double play. First pitch is a ball tonight. So now 2 outs here. That's a huge turn of events for McAlester, and a pop-up on the infield can end the threat, and it will. McAlester, another double play turn. That is the third time today they've gotten somebody out on the base pass, and now they trail 9-4 heading into the bottom half of the 5th inning against the Cardinals. We'll be right back. You're listening to Lady Buff Softball on 98.3 KNED.
McAlester Softball and Volleyball is being sponsored by Consignment Exchange, and I've been doing commercials for them since I was 8 years old. Here's the connection. My great-grandfather and grandmother started the business over 50 years ago. Now my papa, Nana, and Aunt Cleora have continued. The idea was to give a place where folks could buy quality previously owned furniture, and now it's grown as a place where families who need to liquidate estates or simply have something they need to sell, Consignment Exchange is that place. At 9 years old, I came up with the tag of McAllister's favorite furniture store is Consignment, Highway 69 South, and it still is.
Hey guys, it's Sam from Sam Wampler's Freedom Ford in McAlester and Eufaula. With 2 locations to choose from, we have close to 200 vehicles on the ground and coming in. And with vehicles starting at $29.95, we have something for everyone. And if you need parts or service, we are loading up at both locations to serve you better. Plus, with our mobile service van and our pickup and delivery, we can help you with sales and service no matter where you are. So come see us at Sam Wampler's Freedom Ford in McAlester and Eufaula and let us make it happen for you.
Welcome back to high school softball right here on 98.3 KNED. Chase McNutt, Nathan Brown joining you live from Mike Deak Field as the Buffs are back up to bat, trailing 9-4. Now, I know while that seems like a pretty good distance between 2 scores here, the Buffs have scored 4 runs unanswered since the bottom of the 2nd, and they've given up no runs since the 2nd inning. First pitch now to, believe that is Casey Woods is a ball. A little bit turned around here. She's 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a fly out to center field. That one's fouled backwards. So the 1-1 becomes a 1-2 count now. So it's been interesting so far. McAlester kind of started off in the same way that they did yesterday, but now really have clawed back and have shown some really good fight and something to feel really good about heading forward after just game number 2.
I mean, you're still very much within striking distance in this game.
Yeah. That pitch was in the dirt, so it's now 2-1 is the count. But just at this point, you got to feel really positive about what you've seen. You have some things offensively that you've left out there, but for the most part, they have capitalized. That pitch is ripped to the outfield, and it's going to be right to the center fielder for the Cardinals. And that's just kind of how softball goes sometimes. Same thing for baseball. It's kind of the situation where Collinsville, a hit like that is probably falling in front of a defender. That's just the way that the game has gone. And on the McAlester side, they've had a lot of hard hit balls, and especially one for Ambry House, who's up to bat, almost had a 2-run home run back in the 3rd. So first pitch to her, swinging, and it's a pitch that she's behind on. That was a fastball upstairs. So strike 1. But these Buffalo batters have done a very good job of putting some aluminum, I guess, is that what it would be? Aluminum to leather. So they've done a pretty good job. That one is ripped on the ground. That gets past the shortstop on the left side of the infield. So that's a base hit for Ambry House. Her first of the game and her second of the season. What were you going to say, Nate? I know I cut you off a second ago.
Honestly, I don't remember. It's all good.
Sorry about that.
No, you're fine.
So now that'll bring up Kelsey Rowell here, who has gotten on base twice, a double and a walk, and now she's got a very good opportunity to advance a runner here at first base. So she'll step in. Reed will wind up her delivery. First pitch swinging. It's popped up on the infield on the left side. Shortstop coming over will make the play. So that is out number 2. And now that'll bring up Carly Lamore, who's gotten on base once out of 2 at-bats. She also has a strikeout back in the 3rd inning. But again, as I just mentioned, another good opportunity here. First pitch swinging again, and another pop-up in the same direction, and shortstop comes over to grab it, and she falls, but she made the play. So after the leadoff single, not a leadoff single, I will say, the single from Ambry House, 2 pitches, 2 pop-outs by the Lady Buffs, and nothing grabbed there. So that does end their streak of scoring runs in the innings as they trail it 9-4, and we'll head to the top half of the 6th inning. Before we do, want to say Consignment Exchange. They're one of our sponsors. I've been doing commercials for them since I was 8 years old. My great-grandfather and grandmother started the business over 50 years ago. Now my Nana, Papa, and Aunt Cleora have continued it with the idea to give a place where folks could buy previously quality-owned furniture, and it's grown as a place where families who need to liquidate estates or simply have something they need to sell, you can come down to Consignment Exchange. At 9, I came up with the tag of McAllister's favorite furniture store is Consignment, Highway 69 South, and it still is. We're going to take a break. We'll be back in 30 seconds right here on KNED.
Hey guys, it's Sam from Sam Wampler's Freedom Ford in McAlester and Eufaula. With 2 locations to choose from, we have close to 200 vehicles on the ground and coming in. And with vehicles starting at $29.95, we have something for everyone. And if you need parts or service, we are loading up at both locations to serve you better. Plus, with our mobile service van and our pickup and delivery, we can help you with sales and service no matter where you are. So come see us at Sam Wampler's Freedom Ford in McAlester and Eufaula and let us make it happen for you.
Welcome back to Mike Deak Field here on the south side of McAlester as we're now officially into the top half of the 6th inning as the Lady Buffs trail Collinsville 9-4. You know, Nate, it's been a little bit different than the game yesterday, and I know that they're still trailing by 5, but as we've talked about, this has been a much better output for McAlester.
Right. I think you're seeing more confidence from this McAlester team today. They did have, I'm going to guess, some first game jitters out there, but they look like they've really settled in today. But that 7-run first inning, that may end up being too much to overcome.
I know. You take away that 7-run first inning, you're winning right now.
Yeah, it's a 4-2 game if you don't have that first inning.
Yep, and that's been kind of their Achilles heel through just 2 games is first innings. Yesterday, they gave up 5 in the first inning, 7 today. But since then today, just 2 runs scored in 4 straight innings. First pitch swinging here. It's a pop-up to Les now. That is the 3rd straight pop-up to the shortstop here on either side, and that is how you get a leadoff batter out if you're the Buffs. So that was Kavanaugh on the pop-out. She now is 3 for 4. 2 for 4, I beg your pardon. So now that'll bring up Cotton, who is 1 for 3 today, got on base once. She's popped out, and she also had that pitch is in the dirt, but swung on. That's a swing and a miss for a strike. She had a pop out to first base and a pop out over to the catcher.
I mean, ever since that 2nd inning, Collinsville has not been able to see Mason out here.
That pitch is not hit very hard off the bottom of the bat. A slow roller to third, but that's grabbed by Woods and thrown over for out number 2. So Mason really, really has settled in. And, you know, you mentioned it, Nate. I'm going to go ahead and count something up here real quick. Just since the first inning and maybe, I guess, since the 2nd inning, as that's what you've mentioned. So the 3rd inning on, just 2 hits since the 2nd inning here for the Cardinals.
I'm going to knock on some wood there.
Yes, for sure. Just 2 hits and just 2 walks as well. So she's really settled in here. First pitch swing and a miss on the off speed from Richardson. 0-1 here with 2 outs. We've got a hitter's timeout. Going to go talk to the third base coach, maybe just about what they're seeing. But if you're Shiley Mason and also Holly Jernigan, you have to feel really, really good about what you've seen today, especially just even from that first inning on. I know you give up 2 runs in the 2nd inning, but even then you'll take that because that happens sometimes. Just it's been a really good performance out on the mound today.
Right, and this is a team you will see again later on in the year, at least one more time, because this is a district game, so you will end up going to play at Collinsville. I'm not sure what day that's going to be. Yeah. But you will see this team again, and more than likely McAlester is going to be better than they're playing today.
Yes, I think I would agree with that as well. Here's the 0-1. Very close, and it catches the black for called strike number 2. So trying to get another out here after the leadoff, really working very quick for Mason, I will say, after the leadoff 2 up, 2 down. Trying to make it 3 up, 3 down. Trying to make Richardson the last batter. That pitch came out so weird, and it was off speed. She swung and missed, but with the way that pitch rolled, it ends up being a drop third strike advance to first base. So that will be scored as a strikeout, but a dropped strikeout, which allows the runner to go to first. So that will still be scored in the book. She'll still get the strikeout, and that'll be her 1-2 third of the day. So she's got 5 on the season here. That pitch just came out weird. I don't think that's what she was trying to do. Nice block by Ambry House behind the dish. As Ford's up to bat, it's gone on base every single time. 3 singles for Ford and the Cardinals.
And like we said in the top of the 5th, you can't let this 2-out base runner get to you.
Yeah.
Just focus on the batter ahead of you. Get out of the inning. Get your offense back out there.
Pitch is ripped down the left field line. That's going to be a single. Falls right in front of Alberson in left field. Gets it in very quickly. So a sort of a 2-out rally here. Nothing scored yet, and obviously you'd like to keep it that way. But a runner gets on first after a drop third strike, and then you've got a single. Now that brings up 7-hole Helm, who is 2 for 3 today with a single, a double, and a ground out to first base. Excuse me, a ground out to the pitcher. So this is the first time in, let me see here, the second time since the 3rd inning that they've had more than one base runner on the base paths. Mason has just done a stellar job since that 2nd inning of just working quick and finding her spots and not giving up anything crazy. First pitch swinging down the left field line. Again, same spot. Alberson grabs it. They're going to send the runner home. There's going to be a throw home that's not in time. House has it at the plate, turns, throws it to second, and the runner is tagged, but they're safe, and the runner from third will come home and score after the throw down to second. So what was 2 up, 2 down, and then a dropped strikeout for out number 3 has now culminated into a 2-run top of the 6th for the Cardinals. Man, oh man, things can really change in any kind of diamond sport you're playing, but certainly in softball, we just saw how things flipped on the Buffs, who are now back down by 7. First pitch swinging once again. It's going to be hit right in front of the center fielder coming in to grab it. Bailey Caldwell almost falling over. Thought that was going to fall in front of her, but she grabs it for out number 3. But unfortunately, Collinsville did get 2 runs back to push it back to 7 as it's 11-4. We'll be right back. We're heading to the bottom half of the 6th. You're listening to Lady Buff Softball on KNED.
McAlester Clothing Consignment accepts consignments on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. All items must be gently used and in good shape. Please label all bags, boxes, or totes with the consignor's name. The limit on bags is 2 13-gallon bags per consignor per week. The consignment split is 50-50. Hey, bargain shoppers, we have all types of clothing, home decor, toys, hand tools, handbags, jewelry, sports equipment, and more. McAlester Clothing Consignment, 405 East Chickasaw Avenue, Suite B, McAlester. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., Sundays 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Call 918-318-7986.
McAlester Softball and Volleyball is being sponsored by Consignment Exchange, and I've been doing commercials for them since I was 8 years old. Here's the connection. My great-grandfather and grandmother started the business over 50 years ago. Now my papa, Nana, and Aunt Cleora have continued. The idea was to give a place where folks could buy quality previously owned furniture, and now it's grown as a place where families who need to liquidate estates or simply have something they need to sell, Consignment Exchange is that place. At 9 years old, I came up with the tag of McAllister's favorite furniture store is Consignment, Highway 69 South, and it still is.
Welcome back to Mike Deak Field here in McAlester as the Buffaloes trail at 11-4 in the bottom half of the 6th against the Collinsville Cardinals. Chase McNutt, Nathan Brown joining you for the 2nd day in a row here from Mike Deak. And a little bit warmer weather today than what we got yesterday, but I mean, consistently we're going to be in the 90s, especially for the next week or so. So first pitch to Shiley Mason facing off against the pitcher Reed, and the first pitch to her is in the dirt, so 1-0. For Mason, so far today, she has gotten on base once via the walk, also struck out. That was back in the 2nd. So the 1-0 to her, up over the elbows, so 2-0. So the Buffs, they had a streak going from the bottom of the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th where they scored at least 1 run, scored 2 in the 2nd, 1 in the 3rd, and the 4th, but that streak was broken in the bottom of the 5th. And Collinsville got 2 runs back as well in the top of the 6th. That pitch to Mason is also low, so we've got a 3-0 count here. We'll see if we get a 4-pitch walk. There's been a couple of those from Reed today. At times has just struggled with her command. The speed has been there the whole time. That has not been an issue for her, but just the location. Here's the 3-0. That was right down the middle for a 3-0, and that was a take all the way.
No chance you're swinging at that.
No. It's got to be the biggest meatball lob that you could crush 400 feet, whichever direction.
Yeah,
For you to be swinging at a 3-0 pitch.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're swinging 3-0, it better be going over the wall.
Here's the 3-1 swing and a miss on a fastball. Blew it right by her. So it's worked full. Still, though, you're looking for a base hit, ball 4 in this kind of a situation. You're just trying to get the leadoff runner on. 7-8-9 due up for McAlester here as well. Swings at a pitch that probably would have been ball 4 and fouls it off. So does stay alive. But just Mason, I can't say enough good things about her today. Really has settled in after what happened yesterday. Easy to get down on something like that, but also it's good to know that obviously she's a senior. This is going to be someone that pitches a lot. She understands it's a long season and you can bounce back just as quickly. So the 3-2 after the foul ball, it's going to be another fastball that she swings right through, and that's going to be a strikeout for Mason. That is the second time she struck out today at the plate. So now the 8 and 9 holes for the Buffaloes coming up. They're down to their last 5 outs, trailing by 7 runs. Coral Coy will come up. She's got a single and a sacrifice bunt so far. So 1 for 1 technically. First pitch swing and fouls it backwards. We've got a 4v4 matchup here with the pitcher and the batter. And this is a district matchup, as we've talked about. Nate mentioned it already last inning, that you will see these guys again. So it's easy to want to, I don't know if hang your head is the term, but get down a little bit, but you'll get another crack at them, especially if you can't come back today. The 0-1 fastball is blown right by Coy, so it's 0-2. I'll tell you, Reed, let me back up real quick. The Buffaloes have gotten no favors with the pitching they've had to face these first 2 days of the season.
Right, these have been some outstanding pitchers they've faced so far.
That pitch is outside for a ball, 1-2. I would venture to say, I don't know for sure, you're not probably going to see much better pitching than what you've seen these first 2 days. Now,
Right.
Again, I've not seen everybody in their district and in 5A, but Coy hits one not very hard, but it's going to fall right into an open spot on the fair side of the first base line. She's going to take second base and slide in. So a single from Coy, and it advanced over to second base. So for Coy, she's got a 2-hit day after not hitting yesterday and playing just in the field. I think Coy might be finding herself a higher spot in the batting order in games to come.
Right, because she's been showing she can consistently hit the ball out here, and that's really what McAllister's been looking for so far, just early on, 2 games into the season.
So now a runner in scoring position, right back to that trend. First pitch is a called strike to Caldwell. McAllister did not get a runner in scoring position in the 5th, but had one in the 4th, the 3rd, and the 2nd. So just the 1st and the 5th innings are the only ones where they didn't get a runner in scoring position here. So here's the 0-1. Squaring to bunt. It's popped right up into the mitt of the catcher. Just an unfortunate play on a bunt, and that is kind of the risk you run at times when you're squaring around to bunt. So that's out number 2. But you still do have a runner in scoring position, and you have the top of your order coming up here with Rylan Less now.
Number 2, Rylan Lesnow.
So 2 outs here with a runner on second. Now Lesnow, go ahead.
I was just going to say, this may not be a game you come back and win, but just you want to see some offense out there going.
First pitch to her is just outside. Buffaloes trail it 11-4 here. But since the second inning since the bottom of the second, have outscored the Cardinals 4-2.
Right.
If you want to take anything away from this. Here's the 1-0 to Lesnow. A little bit low on the fastball, so it's 2-0. Again, Reed at times has struggled with command. And now would be a great time for the Buffaloes to get some of that all over the place kind of throwing that you've seen from Reed at times. Seen a couple of 4-pitch walks. That pitch does catch the black. Lesnow didn't seem to agree with it, but it's 2-1.
She either didn't agree with it or she knew it was a strike and just regretted not swinging at it.
I've got this side view here, so I can't see as well as you can, obviously, with this straight-on camera shot from left field. Here's the 2-1. Lesnow loads, but called strike. 2-2 now. That one was another borderline that did not go her way. So from 2-0, it's 2-2 to number 2 with 2 outs and a runner on second base. Going to try and just stay alive here. Anything through the infield might be scoring a run. outside. Nice job by Lesnow to let that one go. It's worked full. Now you're looking for a base hit ball forward. You don't want to try and do too much. If you've got the ball, you can take the walk because this is the top of the lineup. After her, you've got your 2, 3, and 4 up. If you get there, there is 2 outs. Here's the payoff pitch. Lesnow hits a grounder over to short. It's nabbed and thrown over. It's close, and she's safe. So Lesnow with the infield single, showing some heart there. That's her second hit of the game. And now you've got runners on the corners with 2 outs. And that'll bring up Avery Alberson, who has gotten on base twice today, but no hits. She is technically 0 for 2 because she got on via the error back in the first inning. But walked and scored in the third and then grounded out to third base back in the fourth. First pitch to Alberson, outside. Do wonder if we'll see McAlester do the double steal here, which has helped them score twice already in this game. 2 of their 4 runs have been because of the double steal with a runner on first and on third.
I mean, right now you don't have much to lose with that.
No. So here's the 1-0 with 2 outs. Runner is going by Lesnow, and they're not even going to throw it down. So it does seem like they learned from their past mistakes. But now you've got 2 runners in scoring position. That's the positive now. Again, these outfielders playing in very, very close. So anything hit hard is going to get down. Here's the 1-1 with 2 outs. Swinging right through it that time is Alberson. So 1-2. Nice pitch by Reed. I will say Reed, as much as we talked about, the Buffaloes kind of settled in, kind of figured her out a little bit. She has settled back in. No runs given up in the bottom of the 5th. And right now she's trying to grab another scoreless half inning. That pitch is hit right up the middle on the ground. Man, nice play going to the knee to grab it and thrown out at first base. That would have scored at least 1 run. But nonetheless, the Buffaloes don't get anything back after getting 2 runners on, and now we'll head to the 7th inning as they trail it 11-4. We'll be right back. You're listening to McAlester Softball on 98.3 KNED.
Hey guys, it's Sam from Sam Wampler's Freedom Ford in McAlester and Eufaula. With 2 locations to choose from, we have close to 200 vehicles on the ground and coming in. And with vehicles starting at $29.95, we have something for everyone. And if you need parts or service, we are loading up at both locations to serve you better. Plus, with our mobile service van and our pickup and delivery, we can help you with sales and service no matter where you are. So come see us at Sam Wampler's Freedom Ford in McAlester and Eufaula and let us make it happen for you.
McAlester Clothing Consignment accepts consignments on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. All items must be gently used and in good shape. Please label all bags, boxes, or totes with the consignor's name. The limit on bags is 2 13-gallon bags per consignor per week. The consignment split is 50-50. Hey, bargain shoppers, we have all types of clothing, home decor, toys, hand tools, handbags, jewelry, sports equipment, and more. McAlester Clothing Consignment, 405 East Chickasaw Avenue, Suite B, McAlester. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., Sundays 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Call 918-318-7986.
Welcome back to Mike Deak Softball and Baseball Field here in the south side of McAlester. We've now entered the final frame here, unless the Buffs can score 7 in the bottom half of the 7th to tie it up as they trail at 11-4 to Collinsville. Shiley Mason is looking to get the complete game here on the mound. First pitch to her, or I should say in the center circle. There is no mound here in softball. First pitch over to Crane is a ball just high and outside, so 1-0 here. And the interesting thing about softball, the 1-0, it's fouled backwards. The interesting thing about softball that is much different than baseball, pitchers have a much longer shelf life just per game to per game. And you can throw back-to-back days just as she's doing today. I believe she threw 4 innings yesterday, and now she's turning right around, and she's in her 7th inning of work. That is just the difference you see. The underhand throwing motion does not do as much damage to the shoulder as the overhead throwing motion does. And that's a slow ground ball hit to short. Lesnow rears and throws it, but it's a little bit low, and Rowell can't grab it, and that's going to allow the runner to go from first to second. So that'll be an error on Lesnow. So not a base hit. That is just the second error. Actually, let me double check. That might just be the first error of the game for the Buffaloes. Nate, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't have one scored here.
I believe you're right there.
So just the first error for McAlester after having 2 yesterday. So the runner is on second base. That pitch is going to be rocketed out to right center field off of one hop. It is grabbed by the Buffs, but one run, no, it's not. They're going to hold him up at third as Bailey Caldwell gets it in very quickly. So, runner in scoring position now. That moves Crane on over and Reed. The nicely hit ball, but not deep enough to be a double. So, you've got runners on the corners with no outs here for the Cardinals. So, Mason will step back in. Taking on Knight. First pitch to her. Runner goes. House is not going to throw it down.
Not going to get their own play used against them.
Oh, yeah. I would say smartly not thrown down. So go ahead and be sure I score that very quickly. So Knight so far has gotten on base 3 times. She's got a triple, a single, and a walk. Off-speed pitch just off the plate. Apparently, it was just off the plate. It's called a ball.
Okay.
I don't know, Nate. You've got a pretty good bird's eye view over here.
I'm just going to say no comment on that one.
So it's now 3-1. 2 runners in scoring position here. Outside, and it's called a ball. But the runner, believe that's ball 4 or no? Or are they saying, oh, it's 3-0 now? Okay.
Yeah.
So 3-0 is the count here. So not a walk. You've still got a base open, though. Here's the 3-0 from Mason. And I don't even think that Knight got even into a batting position. That was a take all the way. So bases loaded here. This is kind of going back to what we saw in the first inning. Mason had done a pretty good job since then of getting an out within the first 3 batters. But as this game has gone on, obviously she's into the 7th inning now. It's the 11th inning of work in just 2 days. I would assume her arm's a little bit tired. First pitch swinging, a half swing, but hits it down the first base line as it leaks foul.
Looked like she was trying to maybe check her swing.
Yeah. Just got kind of caught up there and hit really the outer part of the bat. So it's 0-1 with no outs. So bases loaded against Mason here. 3 strikeouts today after 2 yesterday. Swing and a miss to Kavanaugh. Kavanaugh is 2 for 4. Got a single and a double, 1 RBI, a ground out to third, and a pop out to shortstop. So now 0-2 is the count. That pitch is a hardly hit ground ball. Going to toss it over to second, but it's misplayed by Rowell. The runner is going home, and check that. That is Lamore, not Rowell at second, and 2 runs will score there. So kind of a late decision by Lesnow. She got it and thought about throwing to first, but instead tossed it over to second. It was a little bit low. Lamore couldn't grab the pitch, and that allowed 1 run to score, and then the second one after the missed toss over. So now it's 13-4, and 2 runners are on, and Kavanaugh reaches thanks to the fielder's choice.
And that is a classic example of he who hesitates is lost.
Yes.
I mean, you have to make a decision and then stick with it. You saw her getting ready to throw over to first as first pitch to the batter is outside for ball 1. You have to either commit to that throw to first, or you have to immediately, especially in softball, you have to immediately make that turn over to second so the second baseman can throw it over to first.
Much shorter base pass, and got to make quicker decisions, and that hesitation it got her. That pitch is popped up, and man, Lesnow laid out for it on the foul side of the left field line, but couldn't quite get to it. So that means that Cotton will trot back over to the right-handed batter's side here at home plate. But 2 runners on, still no outs for the Lady Buffs here. Trying to grab one however they can get it. So squaring to bunt here is Cotton. She'll pull back, and then she'll just kind of not very hardly swing it, but finds an open spot over right in front of the right fielder. It's misplayed by Coy. 1 run is going to score. They're going to send another one around. Now they'll halt her halfway to home plate and pull her back. But Knight comes all the way around to score from second base. Kavanaugh is at third, and it is now a 10-run deficit for the Lady Buffs. And I will say, whatever the final score ends up being, I don't think it's completely indicative of how the game has gone today. And Cotton is standing over at first base. First pitch swinging here for Richardson out to left field, and it goes over the left fielder's head, and it's a ground rule double.
So only one runner will score on that.
which helps out McAlester.
Right.
So Cotton will go over to third base. She had an RBI with her hit. And now Richardson with a ground rule double. We saw one yesterday, but McAlester was the beneficiary on that one. So 1, 2, 3, 4 runs scored here in the half inning for the Cardinals, their most since the first inning.
And this is kind of how yesterday went as well. Stigler scored 5 in the first, not much in between, and then 5 in the final frame.
Yes, that first pitch is a ball in the dirt with runners on second and third. It's just as the game goes along, you can only hold up for so long, especially, trailing by 7 runs entering the inning. You would just think, Mason, she can't hold up forever. That pitch is swung on and missed, a nice off-speed pitch. But now wheels just kind of fallen off after 3 straight, that's correct, 3 straight scoreless half innings. Defensively, that pitch is fouled off over by the third base dugout. You've got two runs in the top of the 6th and 4 in the top of the 7th for 6 combined runs in the last 2 half innings for Collinsville offensively. So just about matching their outpouring from just the first inning here in the last 2, which gets us to the 14-4. A golf swing on a pitch that's hit high down the left field line in foul territory. Alberson not quite able to get there. But that is the second strike of the at-bat. Still no outs, though, for McAlester defensively with 2 runners on. So the 1-2 count upcoming for Shiley Mason would be a big spot for her 4th strikeout of the game. Another pop fly, and that one's going to fall on the foul side of the left field line. Once again, Alberson getting quite the workout over there in left field. Just making sure she's awake. And certainly going to be tired after this one with all the running.
No kidding.
So it's still 1-2. No outs with runners on second and third. So stepping back into center circle, here's the wind. 1-2. Outside, it's 2-2. Nice eye that time. At home plate by Ford. So this one, it's been a wacky game. If you've not been with us since the beginning, first pitch came at 4:59, and we got through about 3 batters. I'll finish this here in a second. That pitch is upstairs for a ball, so it's 2-2 now. We got about through 3-4 batters, I think, maybe, and then the home plate umpire stepped off. It was 5? Oh, it was 3-2 is the count. Sorry, excuse me. So 3-2, here's the full count here. That pitch is rocketed up the middle towards center field, and it bounces off the glove of Bailey Caldwell. So 2 more runs are going to score, and that's a double. So 16-4 is now the score here as Collinsville just pouring it on here in the top half of the 7th inning. And that dam kind of has broken open here for the Cardinals. Now, to go back to what I was talking about, the home plate umpire back in the first inning had to step away because he was feeling under the weather. Didn't feel very good. Maybe the heat, a couple other things were a mixture of it. But we had about a 25-minute delay, I'd say, as that first pitch is in the dirt for a ball to Helm. And then they came out and said that they're only going to be using 1 umpire, so we've only got a home plate umpire here for this game. It is a district game, but he's done a pretty good job up to this point. The 1-0 hit off the end of the bat, a pop fly that's going to fall harmlessly off the side netting over by the third base dugout. But Collinsville, they scored 2 runs before play was halted, and then scored 5 more after we came back, and then scored 2 in the top of the 2nd, and then we're goose-egged for 3 straight innings. Pitch bounces off the plate, but it's a ball 4 anyways.
I had the count as 1-1.
Might have hit her then.
I guess.
I looked like it bounced off the plate, but
I don't know.
I'm with you. I don't know. We're in the 7th inning now at this point, and what is a 13-run game?
And I think Coach Jernigan, she's going out to the mound.
So we're not even going to have Oh, she is coming out. There she is. She was over by home plate. She's going to come out. Shiley Mason, her day is done, and Kinley Brown will come in to take over. We're going to go ahead and take a 60-second break. We'll be right back. Buffaloes trail at 17-4 here in the top half of the 7th.
Hey guys, it's Sam from Sam Wampler's Freedom Ford in McAlester and Eufaula. With 2 locations to choose from, we have close to 200 vehicles on the ground and coming in. And with vehicles starting at $29.95, we have something for everyone. And if you need parts or service, we are loading up at both locations to serve you better. Plus, with our mobile service van and our pickup and delivery, we can help you with sales and service no matter where you are. So come see us at Sam Wampler's Freedom Ford in McAlester and Eufaula and let us make it happen for you.
McAlester Clothing Consignment accepts consignments on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. All items must be gently used and in good shape. Please label all bags, boxes, or totes with the consignor's name. The limit on bags is 2 13-gallon bags per consignor per week. The consignment split is 50-50. Hey, bargain shoppers, we have all types of clothing, home decor, toys, hand tools, handbags, jewelry, sports equipment, and more. McAlester Clothing Consignment, 405 East Chickasaw Avenue, Suite B, McAlester. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., Sundays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Call 918-318-7986.
Welcome back to Mike Deak Field here in McAlester, top half of the 7th inning as the Lady Buffs trail it 17-4 to Collinsville. Now that score, it doesn't quite tell the whole story. The Cardinals have ripped off 6 runs here without an out in the top half of the 7th inning. That has moved to Holly Jernigan, head coach, who's had to make a change at the center circle. So Shiley Mason, her day is done after 6 innings pitched, does have 3 strikeouts on the game so far. Only had 2 yesterday, so 5 on the season, but a good amount of hits and a couple of free passes. First pitch is a swing and a miss to Holly. I think that ball got past House at the home plate, so we'll reset. But for Kinley Brown, she's coming in relief. She did not pitch yesterday in relief. That was Kirsten Smith who came on, and she also pitched the JV game. So here's the 0-1. That pitch is hit to left field. It's going to fall right in front of the left fielder for a single. Apperson will throw it in, not in time. Another run will score. So Ford comes around after her double. Helm moves to second base from first base. And now Holly is at first, and we have completely batted through. Jay Crane, who was the first batter of the inning, is now back around after she reached via the error.
Again, a courtesy runner here for Collinsville is Mars.
So Mars, that is the 3rd time she's come into courtesy run. And it's an 18-4 game here in the top half of the 7th. That pitch is a little bit upstairs to Crane. Crane has reached base 3 out of her 4 at-bats, but is officially just 1 for 3 with the error and the ground out. Also has a walk on top of a first inning single with an RBI. Pitch in the dirt. Nice grab by House. As Brown, this is her first innings of action in varsity play this season. Again, just the 2nd game of the season. But it's looking like McAlester is going to fall to 0-2. That pitch is bounced once again.
I mean, barring a spectacular comeback in the bottom of the 7th inning.
And I would be here for it.
Oh, I would absolutely be here for it.
It'd be nice. A little 15 spot. Obviously, they've got to get out of this inning before we can figure out how many they need to score on their side. Pitch is a little upstairs, so it's a 5-pitch one. I think that was a 4-pitch walk.
It was 4-pitch.
So Crane is on base for the 2nd time this inning. But Helm moves to 3rd, and Holly moves to 2nd. So now back to the top half of the lineup with Reed. In an 18-4 game, first pitch to her is a called strike. I wonder if the strike zone will expand here a little bit. Sometimes you see that just in games that get a little bit, just, when one team pulls away, it's all really up to the discrepancy of the home plate umpire.
Right.
And we do have some action out in the bullpen. Looks like Callie Burrow is headed out that way. That pitch is fouled, or not fouled, I beg your pardon. Popped up on the infield. Coming in as center fielder, Bailey Caldwell. And the throw home, man, in time, but sliding under the tag that time was Helm to score a run. So it's 19-4. A good throw from center field, but Caldwell came all the way up, really to almost where the grass would be on the front side of the I guess dirt. It is turf. But that is just the first out of the inning, as that brings up Knight. First pitch to her is a called strike.
Look, that one looked like that one was right at the knees. That was a beautiful location there.
So Brown, this is our first look at her this season. She's trying to get settled in. Looks like she kind of has a little bit. Just a little bit of a slower delivery than Shiley Mason.
Ball looked like it was a little outside, so the count is now 1-1.
So all evened up here with 1 out, 2 runners on. Here's the windup with the 1-1. Hit solidly out to left field, but Alberson comes in to make the play for out number 2, and the runner is caught up, and they're going to double her up on the infield. No, they're going to say that she's safe. Man, I thought they had her. I got a little bit presumptuous there, but it looked like the throw came in on time.
I'll let you folks at home who are watching the broadcast can make a decision there. I will say that's part of the reason why you have 2 umpires out in the field.
Yes, that is a great point. I do believe that he was out in the bullpen earlier, just trying to get his bearings back. I don't see him anymore, but this is just a weird situation that probably won't happen for the rest of the season.
Right.
So 2 outs with 2 runners on. First pitch now over to Kavanaugh. Her second at bat of the inning is a ball. So Brown has done a pretty good job since she's came in. Did give up a couple base hits, but 2 outs also as well. Here's the 1-0. It's a little bit low. So 2-0 is the count here. Buffs trying to get this final out just to give themselves another opportunity to hit again. The 2-0 has popped up on the infield. It looks like it's going to be Lamore calling it off and making the play for out number 3. So after 8 more runs scored by the Cardinals, the Buffaloes trail it 19-4 as we head to the bottom half of the 7th. Before we do that, Consignment Exchange is one of our sponsors. And, they have new mattresses, but they also have quality pre-owned furniture. But the new mattresses are something they're really pushing right now. It's important for you to know that they are hundreds of dollars less than retail. They have name brands that are factory closeouts and discontinued covers, plus other factors. They don't advertise the brands, and they sell them as is. For those reasons, you can buy a high-end name brand mattress and keep money in your pocket. Go try one out today at Consignment Highway 69 South. We'll be right back in 30 seconds with more McAlester Softball.
Hey guys, it's Sam from Sam Wampler's Freedom Ford in McAlester and Eufaula. With 2 locations to choose from, we have close to 200 vehicles on the ground and coming in. And with vehicles starting at $29.95, we have something for everyone. And if you need parts or service, we are loading up at both locations to serve you better. Plus, with our mobile service van and our pickup and delivery, we can help you with sales and service no matter where you are. So come see us at Sam Wampler's Freedom Ford in McAlester and Eufaula and let us make it happen for you.
Welcome back to Mike Deak Field here on the south side of McAlester. Chase McNutt, Nathan Brown joining you. Nathan, we're on the backside now of what is our second broadcast together, and other than the camera issue, I'd say things have gone pretty smoothly.
Right, yeah. I mean, we did have the delay earlier today. Yeah. That tested a few more of things we had set up in the broadcast, but outside of the camera issue, like you said, been a pretty good broadcast so far.
I hope everybody is enjoying the dual cameras that we have over here. I don't really know if you'll get another broadcast here in Oklahoma that'll have a camera kind of set up the way that we do. So it's a really cool thing. If you haven't seen it, I implore you to check it out. And now I will say we do have a pitching change here in the center circle. I do believe that Helm has come over from her third base spot into the center circle to take over for Reed, who has been there. And that is true. Reed now goes to shortstop. And I do believe that Breeding has moved over to third base. So that is all the subs for you, it looks like, at least.
Right, yes, because Breeding was the designated player today. So she'll enter the game to play the field.
So now for the Buffaloes, their last chance to get some runs back. All you need is 16 runs here, and your walk-off winners. That'd be quite a sight to see. So Casey Woods leading things off. She's 0 for 3 today. 2 flyouts and a strikeout. First pitch to her is a called strike on the outside corner, the off-speed pitch. Nice spot that time. So 0-1 now to Woods. Pitch is bounced. Nice block behind the plate by Holly. So 2-0 is the count here. A very hitter-fortunate count here. Time now is 7:30, so about 2.5 hours since first pitch came in. Obviously, we had the delay. Another pitch in the dirt. It's 3-0. But we've been out here for 2.5 hours. It's a lot different than what we had experienced yesterday. But now that means just when we tear everything down, it's going to be a lot cooler outside.
Exactly. I'm fine with that. I don't know about you.
I'm much more fine with that, yes. The 3-0 is a called strike, does catch the corner. So 3-1 is the count now to Woods. Woods looking for her first hit of the game and of the season. Went 0 for 2 yesterday, is 0 for 4 today. 2 flyouts, though, to center field. Slow rolling ground ball turns foul. Nice grab by Holly Jernigan. Head coach also standing over at third base. Still flashing the glove a little bit. So 3-2. Here's the payoff pitch. Hit right up the middle pretty hard. A one-hopper to short. Reed grabs it, throws it over to first base. And that is a ground out. Buffs are now down to their final 2 outs of the game here. So that'll be a 6-3 ground out. Ambry House due up. She's got one of the few hits for the Buffs here so far today. Had a hit yesterday as well.
She was about 5 feet away from a big 2-run home run earlier.
And that was back in the third. And it might have changed things. If it wouldn't have been a fly out, I mean, you never know what could have happened. So House back up. First pitch to her is upstairs. Smartly lays off of it. 1-0. But House has already shown that she's going to be somebody that's going to be counted on as a sophomore. And that pitch is rolled in a decent way. So 2-0 is the count here. Buffaloes trail at 19-4. They did crawl back, had scored 4 unanswered runs against the Cardinals to make it 11-4. That was back in the bottom of the 4th, but have not scored since then. 2 straight goose eggs in the 5th and the 6th. Another pitch that's low, bounces off the catcher's, looks like the leg guards. So 3-0 is the count here with 1 out.
And we mentioned McAlester going on basically a 4-0 run with runs. Collinsville has popped off a 10 unanswered run here.
Yeah, it's just an unfortunate kind of thing. They have 9 and now 10 unanswered runs of their 19. All were unanswered. House swings at a pitch that's in the dirt. That is a called strike. And I believe that was a 3-0 count as well.
It was.
So that's the first time we've seen a swing on a 3-0 count, at least these 2 days. Now, also, we talk about, obviously things haven't gone their way, but Shiley Mason really settled in. 3 scoreless innings through the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th. House swings and misses at another one. So we've gone from 3-0 to 3-2 here in a full count with 1 out. But back to the House flyout back in the 3rd that ended up being a sac fly. Could have changed things, and I know that you mentioned it was probably just within 5 feet, 10 feet of being a 2-run shot.
It was.
Unfortunately, didn't fall that way. The wind really hasn't been crazy. It's completely died out there now. I think it was gusting as high as about 14, so not really as much to get you any kind of a push. And House rips one over the top of the second baseman for a single. Went upstairs for that pitch a little bit, but hit it right on the screws, and that is now her 2nd hit of the day, her 3rd of the season. So she's got a 2 for 4 day if that is her final at bat on this Tuesday.
Number 12, Kelsey Rowell.
So Kelsey Rowell will step back up to bat. She's been on base twice. Her first 2 at-bats she got on had a double and a walk, but then she popped out to short, and that was back in the 5th inning. First pitch to her, thought about swinging, laid off, but it was a called strike.
And we may be pushing, turning the lights on here at Mike Deak Field.
I was wondering if we were going to get that anytime soon. If the Buffs start scoring some runs here, we may see it. So here's the 0-1. Swinging at a pitch that's low and missing. So it's 0-2 with 1 out here in the 7th. For the Buffaloes so far, let me see if I can tally this up real quick. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hits today. I believe they only had 3 yesterday. So you double that and some. Swing and a miss by Rowell, and that is a strikeout. And the runner's going to go from first to second. So nice job that time from House paying attention. That is the second time, though, that a throw down to Cotton has led to her turning and swiping, thinking there's going to be a base runner there with him being halfway over to second base. So I think that technically is a stolen bag as well.
Yeah.
So 2 outs here, and that'll bring up Carly Lamore. And actually, we have a pinch hitter up. I think that's Audrey Donnie.
Yes, that's who I have on the roster. That's who I'm seeing at least.
So here's the 1-0. Another pitch in the dirt. Runner is going to steal. House gets her second stolen bag of this half inning. Buffs have stolen a couple of bags tonight. That is their 4th stolen base of the ball game. So a 2-0 count down to their final out as McAlester trails it 19-4 to Collinsville. Here's the 2-0. Swinging at a pitch that's a little bit up and was behind it. So 2-1 on the swing and the miss. So 2-1 now. Hit right off the third baseman's glove. That's going to mean it's fair, even though it falls on the foul side. And a run is going to score, and she's going to take second base. Audrey Donnie goes all the way around to second from home after that. It was just kind of a weird hit. Went straight off the third baseman's glove. I think if the third baseman's not there, that's fair regardless.
I mean, again, take it any way you can get it.
So the 8th hit for the Buffaloes and their 5th run scored. Man, you take away, 10 unanswered runs, it's a 4-run game. It maybe looks a little bit different. But that's the part about sports. First pitch swinging this time. It's a slow roller up the middle by Kinley Brown. It's thrown over to first, and the side is retired. And that is how the game will end. McAlester falls in this one in 7 innings, 19-5 to Collinsville. We're going to go ahead and take our final break. And when we come back, we'll recap this one and send you out for the rest of the night. Thanks for joining us. Me and Nathan Brown will be right back with the recap as the Lady Buffs fall to Collinsville 19-5.
McAlester Softball and Volleyball is being sponsored by Consignment Exchange, and I've been doing commercials for them since I was 8 years old. Here's the connection. My great-grandfather and grandmother started the business over 50 years ago. Now my papa, Nana, and Aunt Cleora have continued. The idea was to give a place where folks could buy quality previously owned furniture, and now it's grown as a place where families who need to liquidate estates or simply have something they need to sell, Consignment Exchange is that place. At 9 years old, I came up with the tag of McAllister's favorite furniture store is Consignment, Highway 69 South, and it still is.
Welcome back to Mike Deak Field here in McAlester as the Lady Buffs fall to 0-2 on the season after a 19-5 loss to the Collinsville Cardinals. Now, it was a couple of different things that happened here today. Obviously, we had the delay, but a 7-run first inning was just too much for the Lady Buffs to come back from. Did have 4 unanswered runs from the bottom of the second all the way through the 4th, so showed some signs there of what they could be at times. But again, a very, very young team, and you can see that as the games roll along. But now 0-2. And they're getting ready to play their JV game, or maybe it's gone so long that they may not play a JV game. Not quite sure, but either way, that has not really a lot to do with us. Nate, just real quick, what were your final thoughts on the game today?
Well, like you said, we saw some signs of life there in the 2nd through 4th innings from McAlester, outscoring Collinsville 4-2 there, getting three consecutive no-run innings for Collinsville. So I think you're going to see McAlester kind of build off those innings, not focus on the 1st and 7th innings where the game just really got away from them, get outscored 15-1 in 2 innings. that you're not going to win many of those games.
Yep, it's kind of the way the cookie crumbles for you sometimes. And unfortunately, the Lady Buffs, they fall to 0-2 on the season. Shiley Mason, she'll get the loss on the center circle. Went 5 innings, had 3 strikeouts as well. A pretty good day, a couple of walks as well. But you can build on this. Obviously, it's you give up 19 runs, but most of that, 10 of those 19 came in the top of the 6th and the 7th. At that point, your starting pitching is extremely tired. So, there are some other factors to all that. So for myself and for Nathan Brown, thanks for joining us on this Tuesday. We'll be back with you on Thursday for some Lady Buff volleyball. That'll be their senior night to start the season, and I'll be there live for you on the air. So thanks for joining us right here on 1150 AM, 98.3 FM, KNED. Have a good rest of your Tuesday.